man, this lady claims that it's a repo.
Charlie 310, I'm on horn. Put me on that call. Let me order.
I'm going to log this in case you get a stolen vehicle. Texas John.
Yes, ma'am. Can you tell me if the court is still open, or did they shut down? Because I know they're doing the warrant.
According to the news, they're open till 7.
Okay, thank you.
377 is going to come in 4381 tonight.
Is this 377?
Medic 14.
14377.
To be advised, we're headed to facility code 1 with a 25-year-old male patient. Male patient is nonverbal and does have a history of epilepsy. He does have cerebral palsy, quadriplegic, and scoliosis.
Over there in the Bishop.
Caretaker called after the patient basically is saying that patient didn't appear to be acting normal for himself. Caretaker said that she took some baseline vitals on him, and she was concerned that she had a low blood pressure of 80 over 40. On scene, we did have a blood pressure of 100 over 72. She was also being concerned about his respiratory status. She's been coughing up a lot these past couple of days. They've been having to suction him pretty regularly, so they wanted to get him checked out. Current vitals on the patient are last blood pressure we have was 108 on 70. He had a pulse of 84, starting at 89% on root air. We did give him an easy Canada. Got his O2 test up to 96, and he had a temp of 95.8. Got the patient on O2, didn't attempt IV access, and we're en route. We should be there within 5 minutes.
Demetrius Villanueva will be waiting in a gray expedition at the Cracker Barrel. We reference a previously reported road rage incident at Weber and SPD where a subject pulled a gun on him. Suspect already left southbound on Weber. Called in today. About 15 minutes.
Negative
You know.
432 4 Delta right.
Delta 455.
Delta 455. 2 4 standby.
Copy that. Thank you.
It's okay.
It's
okay. Boys on William 9275.
They were hired at Woodridge 10-4. Number 241.
All third-party information and
340 Ruby Route to Delta 455 located in Gold Martin North.
7300 Leopard, John San Henry 6562.
Charlie 370, I'm in that call for service.
Charlie 470, add to the which call?
Charlie 370, the call on unit.
Left part of the vehicle, high centered over.
5 and aggressive driver hold it
We're going to go back inside.
10-4. We're going to be coming code 1 here. 5-year-old male.
Charlie 220, that's negative. Battalion Chief advised no PD was needed. Charlie Chief complaining that he coughed
and onset about 1 o'clock in the morning. Mom stated that she went to sleep. He started coughing in the middle of the night. Woke him up. He was crying. So she was concerned. At this time, vital signs are ET 102 and 62, heart rate at 80, respiration 22, non-labor, setting at 96% on the air.
between the RPO and that.
Patient over negative for any kind of yellow or flame or sputum at this time. No medical history. There's been noted. Lung counts are clear. Eyelash facility showing no other uplands going out with 1721.
404.
Yes, I'll be out here. Is it alright if we drop off at Riverview and Buckhorn? It's going to be a few more minutes from Georgia before he drops back. They said about...
Yeah, pretty much, I've got two in Desert City, Vegas, giving these help with transport. Everybody's on Stone Garden, so I told them I'll transport one female, and the second transport the male. Just Mac 10 to be one because one of they're fairly violent. Now they're on their way, so we need to take bottles from either from engine 14 and engine 4, maybe engine 6 to swap these out so we can send rescue back and send truck 4 back. We're coming out stable, we're almost ready. you're going to be the only unit available?
In entry, 10-4.
I haven't advised them. You want to let them know? You want to let them know? Copy. Command, engine 14 driver. Go ahead. Whenever you top off, you guys can break down that line.
Charlie 471.
I'll be working off the RTA parked in the driveway. DRE? Or which one is that? Negative, sir. He was sitting on a small baggage mount in the side vehicle.
That's a voice matter.
Sweet. Area next to the Cracker Barrel.
455
So this hazard zone.
220.
Mike 49 to communication. Oh, sorry about that. That's okay.
10-4.
Dr. 430.
Sub 430.
Female.
Juvenile mount.
Richard, cross-treated airs.
Problem.
Call for engine 3 and mag 3. Engine 3 and mag 3.
Starting my review.
Zero at 133.
Call for engine 11, large commercial fire alarm at 4320 South Alameda, 4320 South Alameda at ATP on Alameda and Robert. Fire alarm is water flow riser 2. Call to update Walker Fire Dispatch 133.
Jackson resident. Shows general critical alarm.
430, I'm going to redirect to 420, 430, 445 for flight in progress, Alameda Airlines. Alameda Airlines, wonders about hardware work.
I'm over 250, 250.
Call for engine 7, large commercial fire alarm at 4222 South Staples, 4222 South Staples at International Resistive Company. Point of alarm is right, water flow. Key holder still pending. Work off fire dispatch 133.
Try it, 625. Show us signal 4 ropers.
3 Vincent, 330 Vincent. Contact Ron Brewer. He found the bullet hole in the right
Contact Iris, female detained.
Under 100. Buzzing, there's a female
14, engine 14, large commercial fire alarm. 5858 South Staples, 5858 South Staples at Sunrise Mall. Point of alarm is zone 13, fire alarm. Call for updating, work on fire dispatch 134.
What's that guy's name? What's his last name? I'm in route, Laponic Court.
David?
Yeah, so we're going to be at it.
First name William, last name David.
Engine 14, need 10 for your call. 14 be advised, the fire alarm is also at Halloween City and Sears Water Flow 2. Engine 14, come in static, you can repeat.
280 shots, sir. 250 to
Point of alarm is zone 13 for Sunrise Mall. Another call to at Halloween City and also Sears Water Flow 2.
all units and/or drivers on scene. Engine 18 light and air. Pulls are on the corner of Lost Street. Sure, bring your bottles over and get them swapped out, please. Boy, Lincoln, Edward.
10-4, are we still going to be en route? Or do you want me to show you quick?
1128 of 55.
1128 Cheryl Bledsoe and Cheryl with the Emerson Charles.
Jonathan around the northwest,
Continue. Saratoga Weber. Saratoga Weber. Car advising a brown older model Buick has heavy front damage seen traveling towards Castores. No reports of accidents in the area.
Working at MMC. 309.
Negative. Showing one at a shoreline, but not at a MMC.
Put the fan on, blow it out, or you good with it? Charlie 320. Copy. Let's let it sit and breathe, and then go back in about 5-10 minutes and take a beat.
Engine 8 in quarters.
Ready, 66.
Light and air 18 to command. We got plenty of water over here, Chief.
testing that they're doing, or maintenance at on the fire alarm at Sunrise Mall, we have several calls for several different stores there that Engine 14's en route to reference water flow. Charlie 440 for 7 for progress.
Negative, 1 vehicle to the parking lot and I have one in the roadway here. I'm behind I'm marking it. Black and 4. Go ahead.
Bravo W, Bravo 4, copy of plate, Nevada, 07 Henry, 585.
10-4.
Henry, Edward, 01.
ID 6226, record ride. You called clutch towing, 10-4?
10-4.
Unit claim 2. We're waiting for impound to property. And that there used to be a meter there, but there's no longer a meter.
Delta 440, Delta 4. Water George 1754. 4, go ahead. Trailer. And 410 years are going up right now.
And Charlie, do you need any additional?
Bravo 420 in clear.
Because it's already here.
722, 10-7.
Anyone on 734? Anyone on 735?
John,
Did you have to check traffic?
491.
You guys finding a boat?
It's going to be a 2000.
Traffic, are you 735?
You guys are all...
Negative.
Tell me how they go. Example, we're just going to exchange the bottles out of our unit. Copy that. Thanks for your help.
Where you can start impound as well.
7370 back to 730.
What's the question?
5254.
230 clear.
9, go ahead.
Reported mail subject.
We're back.
I'll be back on my traffic stop at
10-4 false alarm, back to
and I was going to check something on that subject that I told.
Thank you.
What's your location?
Everything good?
It's going to be 502 when you start transporting.
And we're 22323.
Charlie before you're on John.
Right.
We'll be investigating. It looks like NDP.
There's no good have I.
Try to Charlie 440, does Dr. want contact? Yeah, I'll take that call. 10-4, I think you don't get any more calls from this facility tonight. It's going to be false alarms. 10-4,
21 Annabelle 2, station training for transport.
I just want to advise, if I reopen it, it's back on it, it's going to change the
440 Everhard. 440 Everhard at Fairway Apartments.
Don't want to just reopen it.
Still updating and advising if there's instruments of that.
No, that's okay. You can just tell me on
Several panhandlers on the parking lot. Customers are
That's
calling.
where I'll cross-drive.
They're aggressive.
Fairway to Apartment 10 Eastern. Ground station.
520 for 30. Apartment 137 right now.
6051 at 143.
That's 420. We're shopping Ruth and Harmon.
Stopping at Ruth and Harmon 10-4.
I'll be close. Person 9602 SKD. 9602 SKD is driving from the city westbound and Love. My third party for 6 others outside bothering customers. All disturbance in progress at the roadway in.
Try locking in the Eagle. EMS cleared. Self-mail and female for transport. Maybe for a gray 40. Go forward to where EMS cleared. Charlie, they can clear my part.
40 for 70 for a man vehicle. Down on 3211 SKD. 3211 SKD. Near the drive-through Gray Chevy Tahoe. SKD. The driver stopped out the vehicle. 100 call 8 for 1.
Yep.
3 or 4. Sorry, 60 will be on that. Sorry, 67.
That's 220. On the third floor, the panic button was pressed 6 times. Advise lock codes 13579. That's going to be the prisoner processing room. When you get off the elevator, look for a door at the sign that says weapons and firearms prohibited. Advising prisoners may have overpowered
testing with Bolero 2. Dispatch testing with Sickle
That's 480. I'm going to show you around with them as well.
Sickle East Plan, range about it. Where's that at?
Dispatch testing with RTA News Station.
Wilson Plaza. What office?
Dispatch testing emergency evacuation wobble. Dispatch testing emergency pulse zone.
6-8-2015.
Dispatch clear with radio pager test at ET.
Door directly off the elevator that says, with a sign that says weapons and firearms prohibited. It hasn't given an all.
Roots to hip-hop and so much more. Hear music from the artists that inspired generations of musicians and continue to influence pop culture today. Aretha, Jay-Z, Michael, Marvin, Tupac, Diana Ross, and so many more. Listen to their special playlists or an iHeartRadio original station like Urban Pop Classics and most.
Have we tried to call the office line yet, see if they have anybody working that right now? I don't see any of the call where they...
I'm Stockel. The sheriff in Broward County, Florida now says there are multiple people dead after a school shooting this afternoon in Parkland, Florida, not far from Fort Lauderdale. Somebody opened fire inside a high school, a suspect who's been arrested, and they say maybe a former student. The sheriff's office said 14 victims have been taken to local hospitals. Michael Katz is a student at Stoneman Douglas High School.
It was the end of the day, and I was just finishing up my work, and all of a sudden I hear a sound that sort of like a garbage truck, like banging.
Katz says he then got down under the teacher's desk, and the school went into lockdown. Again, the sheriff in Broward County, Florida, just saying there are multiple people dead after a high school shooting this afternoon in Parkland. There is reaction from Washington.
The White House says President Trump has spoken with Florida Governor Rick Scott and offered federal assistance if needed in the wake of a shooting at a South Florida high school. Secretary of Homeland Security Kirsten Nueces also spoke with Governor Scott, as well as state and local officials, and has briefed the president on her conversations. The White House says they continue to keep the victims and their friends and families in their thoughts and prayers. Karen Tavis, ABC News, the White House.
Also today, President Trump said a little more about the Rob Porter scandal and the accusations of domestic abuse against his former top aide, forced to resign last week.
I'm totally opposed to domestic violence of any kind. Everyone knows that.
For the last few days, the president has been defending Porter. Today, he ignored questions about whether he believes the accusations by Porter's ex-wives. On Capitol Hill, a bipartisan group of senators has released a new immigration proposal. It will provide Dreamers with a 12-year pathway to citizenship. It also includes $25 billion for the president's border wall. $10 to $30 million is how much the military parade that the president requested would cost, according to his budget director, who says it all depends on the parade's size. You're listening to ABC News.
Here's what's coming up. Back from the brink of death, the Winter Olympian who's hoping to strike gold in South Korea. Want to own the American dream? Before you buy a home, you'll want to hear how much home ownership is actually going to end up costing you. And imagine having your boss hand you the keys to the workplace for the day. That's exactly what happened to one team during a game. How the coach said it helped their morale. It's all coming up right here on ABC News.
Florida police are investigating after an SUV lost control on a busy highway, hitting speeds up to 100 miles an hour.
All advices to look for a door with signs that read weapons and firearms prohibited. That will be directly to the prison.
I don't have a mic on my phone. Either one, because the district might be dead. So either one.
On patrol duty, we have 6 calls pending. That's correct. Or no problem. My call, Renee, go ahead.
Started with it.
30 North State Parkway. That's 4730 North State. Mercedes. So I can wait a young boy, 161.
Sure.
I'll
used. Russian officials are speaking out about continued U.S. claims of election meddling. Correspondent Bill Zimfer has more.
Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov was quizzed about election meddling after U.S. intelligence officials told a congressional committee they are concerned about Russian interference in the midterm elections. Peskov said Russia has not intervened in any country's internal affairs, is not at present, and has no plans to do so. He added that the U.S. interest in Russian meddling has turned into an obsession not worth commenting on. Bill Zimper, NBC News Radio.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average is shrugging off new data showing rising inflation. The Dow fell as many as 150 points today before rallying to close 256 points higher at 24,896. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio. Brooklyn District Attorney Eric Gonzalez is calling for a change in a new policy by ICE agents. Lisa G reports.
DA Gonzalez says the new policy lets immigration and customs enforcement agents arrest undocumented immigrants inside courthouses. He says because of this, witnesses are afraid to go to court and low-level offenders are being pulled out of courtrooms.
We are appealing to them as law enforcement officers not to make these arrests in our courthouses or right outside our courthouses.
Gonzalez says this policy jeopardizes public safety. In addition, he says immigrants feel they'll be deported if they show up to court. Lisa G, NBC News Radio, New York.
A recent poll rating Iowa's politicians indicates Senator Joni Ernst's popularity is growing. The poll of 801 Iowans by the Des Moines Register and Mediacom shows a 51% approval rating for Ernst compared to Chuck Grassley's 49% approval rating. The results mark the first time that Iowa's other U.S. senator has rated higher than Grassley in an Iowa poll. It's the highest rating for Ernst since taking office in 2015. Actor Luke Wilson and pro golfer Bill Haas are okay following a deadly crash in the Los Angeles area. Jason Campidonia has details.
A high-priced Ferrari took Wilson's car and then crashed into a BMW last night in the affluent city of Pacific Palisades. Police say the Ferrari flipped over and the driver was pronounced dead at the scene. Wilson was uninjured and Haas, who was a passenger in the Ferrari, was initially taken to the hospital in serious condition but later released. PGA officials say Haas will now skip tomorrow's Genesis Open. Jason Campidonia, NBC News Radio.
Johnny Football is getting another shot at revving his career. The Spring League announced Wednesday that Johnny Manziel will play for the South Squad during the two-weekend showcase in Austin, Texas. Manziel's South team will play games on April 7th and April 14th. The Spring League features 4 teams comprised mostly of players with NFL experience. Manziel says his main goal is to make it back to the NFL. Brian Shook, NBC News Radio.
Lead into the third period, but the U.S. men's ice hockey team could not finish it off. Disappointing 3-2 loss in overtime against Slovenia in Team USA's opener in the preliminary round at the Olympics. Slovenia scored with 97 seconds remaining to tie it. They got the game winner 38 seconds into overtime. The U.S. will try to rebound when they face Slovakia tomorrow night. Slovakia with an impressive comeback victory over Russia in their debut. Germany won gold and bronze in men's luge doubles to take over the lead in the overall medal count. The Germans with 12 medals, also first with 7 gold medals. Norway and the Netherlands both have 11 medals. The U.S. is tied for 5th with 7 medals, including 4 gold. That includes the gold medal Shaun White won in men's snowboarding halfpipe. White becomes the first snowboarder to win 3 gold medals in a career. That was also the 100th gold medal in U.S. all-time in the Olympic Games. Sports Update, Doug Thompson, NBC News Radio.
The news you want, when you want it. You're listening to NBC News Radio on iHeartRadio.
President Trump is making a case for his big infrastructure plan.
After spending trillions of dollars overseas rebuilding other countries, it is time to rebuild our own country.
Trump says it's not all directed toward big cities.
We're going to spend $50 billion on rural infrastructure and internet access.
He says states will help decide how to spend the money.
They know best the needs of their people.
Trump once again linked foreign aid spending to the crumbling infrastructure.
We spent $7 trillion in the Middle East. It's ridiculous.
With the president's budget plan being roundly criticized as fiscally irresponsible, now the White House is putting a price tag on Trump's proposed military parade. Sharon Reed has the story.
Budget Director Mick Mulvaney was asked about the parade costs during a House hearing on Capitol Hill.
I've seen various different cost estimates from between, I think, $10 million and $30 million, depending on the size of the parade.
Mulvaney says that's a preliminary estimate and says the money is not part of the president's proposed 2019 budget plan.
That's Politics. Randy Fuller, NBC News Radio.
This flu season has been brutal, and the CDC says it's not sure we've hit the peak yet. Dr. Brendan Slaughter of the CDC is offering tips on identifying symptoms.
Symptoms of flu are pretty much the same no matter what the virus is that's circulating. We look for cough and fever, muscle aches, and just fatigue.
Flu germs are spread through the air, and Lisa G says some New Yorkers are finding creative ways to reduce the risk.
At New York Fashion Week, one fashion blogger showed up wearing a medical mask with interlocking Chanel C's on it.
Alesco, an online retailer that sells printed filtration masks, reports a 25% increase in sales, and VOG masks, which makes patterned respirator masks, has seen about a 20% uptick in sales. One doctor at NYU Langone Urgent Care on Manhattan's West Side said masks are good protection from airborne particles, especially after someone sneezes on the subway. Health expert Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio.
There's something to inflation fears that have whipsawed markets recently. The Labor Department's Consumer Price Index jumped to 0.5% in January when counting everything we buy, and 0.3% when discounting food and fuel, which we have live stream. Both numbers are higher than expected. Overall prices are up 2.1% for the full year, and so-called core prices up 1.8%. And the Federal Reserve has considered inflation too low and has set 2% as a healthy goal.
But with retail sales slowing and a percentage point increase in the Consumer Price Index, there are fears inflation could trouble the new Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell to push more aggressively for more interest rate hikes.
That drop in retail sales was 0.3% in January, and most economists predicted they would increase 0.2%. The Commerce Department says the December sales also were lower than first estimated. Digging deeper, however, overall sales were dragged down in January by disappointing sales of cars and auto parts and gasoline, and many economists think the worst flu season in years also hurt sales overall. Businesses seem to be getting a better handle on how much stuff they need to keep on the shelves for sale. Inventories increased 0.4% in December, and sales were up 6%. So analysts say that is helping businesses pare down what had been an excess of stuff on shelves. The recent market ups and downs combined with higher interest rates may be slowing the housing market. Mortgage applications are way off. Applications to buy fell 6% in the last week, and refis are down 2%. Although purchase applications are still 4% better than this time last year. And if you want a high-paying job in the construction industry and don't want to go to college, consider working on elevators. Elevator installers and repairs earned a median of $80,000 in 2016. That's double the national median for all construction jobs. And the Labor Department says unlike most fields that just require a degree, demand for elevator workers is expected to increase 12% over the next decade because of an increase in office and apartment buildings. Consumer and Business News, Joe Matano, NBC News Radio.
You're listening to NBC News Radio.
Britney Spears is set to be honored at the 29th Annual GLAAD Media Awards in Los Angeles. The world's largest LGBTQ media advocacy organization announced that the Slumber Party singer will receive the Vanguard Award for being a longtime ally of the LGBTQ community. Previous recipients of the award include Demi Lovato, Jennifer Lopez, Janet Jackson, and Cher, among others. The ceremony will take place April 12th at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. Nelly is being investigated for alleged sexual assault in England. TMZ reports police have launched a criminal investigation into the record after a woman accused him of assaulting her after a December show in Essex, near London. The investigation comes 4 months after Nelly was arrested for allegedly raping a woman on his tour bus. Mary J. Blige is starring in a new Netflix series. The singer will be returning to the streaming platform to play a hit woman in The Umbrella Academy, which will be based on the comic series by My Chemical Romance frontman Gerard Way. The show will track the lives of a family of superheroes who come together to find out who killed their father. Live will reportedly be playing a series regular named Cha-Cha, who time travels in order to kill. That's entertainment. Lisa G, NBC News Radio.
eBay is working on a few new tricks to make online shopping more fun. Bloomberg says the e-commerce site will debut some augmented reality features that will, for example, let car enthusiasts see how the images of new wheels would look on their vehicles before making the purchase. The company also is considering a program to give sellers credit to entice them to use the money they make on the site. Samsung is still the biggest phone maker in the world. Researcher Trendforce says the Korean electronics giant shipped more than 310 million phones last year, owning almost 22% of the market worldwide. Apple shipped roughly 215 million phones with a market share of 15% worldwide. Facebook is going to set up a romantic mood for you on Messenger. After confirming you're in a new relationship with someone, a Messenger chat will open up that has hearts falling across the screen. You'll be able to set custom emojis and nicknames for the chat, which will now appear at the top of Messenger's active tab. Tech Report, Larry Olson, NBC News Radio.
This is NBC News Radio. On iHeartRadio.
NBC News Radio, I'm Brian Shook. The Miami Herald says law enforcement sources have identified the suspect in today's high school shooting in Parkland, Florida as Nicholas de Jesus Cruz. Some students who survived the shooting claim they know the suspect.
He's just always been a really crazy kid. Like, and I heard some people say that one day he would have done this, and unfortunately I think that was today.
Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel says the suspect did attend Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. SWAT teams are still clearing the school. Israel also remarked that he has spoken to Florida Governor Rick Scott and President Trump, and they have pledged to provide as much support as needed. In an afternoon tweet, Trump called the shooting a terrible tragedy and offered prayers and condolences to victims and their families. The president said no one should ever feel unsafe in an American school. Another White House official is reportedly out after being informed he will not be given a permanent security clearance. Tom Roberts has details.
Politico reports George David Banks resigned on Tuesday. Banks told Politico he was informed by the White House counsel's office his application for permanent clearance was not being granted. He was on the National Economic Council and was a special assistant to President Trump for international energy and environmental policy. His resignation comes as the White House faces intensifying scrutiny over officials who've been operating without full security clearances. Tom Roberts, NBC News Radio.
The U.S. men's hockey team is 0-1 after an opening round loss at the 2018 Winter Olympics. Team USA allowed 3 unanswered goals as they lost 3-2 to Slovenia in overtime. Slovenia tied the game late in the third period before winning it just 38 seconds into OT. Brian O'Neill and Jordan Greenway scored for the U.S., which faces Slovakia tomorrow night. The 2-0 women's team clashes with Canada tonight. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio. Brooklyn District Attorney Eric Gonzalez is calling for a change in a new policy by ICE agents. Lisa G reports.
DA Gonzalez says the new policy lets immigration and customs enforcement agents arrest undocumented immigrants inside courthouses. He says because of this, witnesses are afraid to go to court, and low-level offenders are being pulled out of courtrooms.
We're appealing to them as law enforcement officers not to make these arrests in our courthouses or right outside our courthouses.
Gonzalez says this policy jeopardizes public safety. In addition, he says immigrants feel they'll be deported if they show up to court. Lisa G, NBC News Radio, New York.
A recent poll rating Iowa's politicians indicates Senator Joni Ernst's popularity is growing. The poll of 801 Iowans by the Des Moines Register and Mediacom shows a 51% approval rating for Ernst compared to Chuck Grassley's 49% approval rating. The results mark the first time that Iowa's other U.S. senator has rated higher than Grassley in an Iowa poll. It's the highest rating for Ernst since taking office in 2015. Actor Luke Wilson and pro golfer Bill Haas are okay following a deadly crash in the Los Angeles area. Jason Campidonia has details.
A high-priced Ferrari clipped Wilson's car and then crashed into a BMW last night in the affluent city of Pacific Palisades. Police say the Ferrari flipped over and the driver was pronounced dead at the scene. Wilson was uninjured and Haas, who was a passenger in the Ferrari, was initially taken to the hospital in serious condition but later released. PGA City officials say Haas will now skip tomorrow's Genesis Open. Jason Campidonia, NBC News Radio.
Johnny Football is getting another shot at revving his career. The Spring League announced Wednesday that Johnny Manziel will play for the South Squad during the 2-weekend showcase in Austin, Texas. Manziel's South team will play games on April 7th and April 14th. The Spring League features 4 teams comprised mostly of players with NFL experience. Manziel says his main goal is to make it back to the NFL. Brian Shook, NBC News Radio.
They appear to be in good shape, taking a 2-0 lead into the third period, but the U.S. team could not finish it off. Disappointing 3-2 loss in overtime against Slovenia in Team USA's opener in the preliminary round at the Olympics. Slovenia scored with 97 seconds remaining to tie it. They got the game winner 38 seconds into overtime. The U.S. will try to rebound when they face Slovakia tomorrow night. Slovakia with an impressive comeback victory over Russia in their debut. Germany won gold and bronze in the men's luge doubles to take over the lead in the overall medal count. The Germans with 12 medals, also first with 7 gold medals. Norway and the Netherlands both have 11 medals. The U.S. is tied for 5th with 7 medals, including 4 gold. That includes the gold medal Shaun White won in the men's snowboarding halfpipe. White becomes the first snowboarder to win 3 gold medals in a career. That was also the 100th gold medal of the U.S. all-time in the Winter Games. Sports Update, Doug Thompson, NBC News Radio.
The news you want, when you want it. You're listening to NBC News Radio on iHeartRadio.
President Trump is making a case for his big infrastructure plan.
After spending trillions of dollars overseas rebuilding other countries, it is time to rebuild our own country.
Trump says it's not all directed toward big cities.
We're going to spend $50 billion on rural infrastructure and internet access.
He says states will help decide how to spend the money.
They know best the needs of their people.
Trump once again links foreign aid spending to the crumbling infrastructure.
We spent $7 trillion in the Middle East. It's ridiculous.
With the president's budget plan being roundly criticized as fiscally irresponsible, now the White House is putting a price tag on Trump's proposed military parade. Sharon Reed has the story.
Budget Director Mick Mulvaney was asked about the parade costs during the House hearing on Capitol Hill.
I've seen various different cost estimates from between, I think, $10 million and $30 million, depending on the size of the parade.
Mulvaney says that's a preliminary estimate and says the money is not part of the president's proposed 2019 budget plan.
That's politics. Randy Fuller, NBC News Radio.
This flu season has been brutal, and the CDC says it's not sure we've hit the peak yet. Dr. Brendan Flattery of the CDC is offering tips on identifying symptoms.
Symptoms of flu are pretty much the same no matter what the virus is that's circulating. We look for cough and fever, muscle aches, and just fatigue.
Flu germs are spread through the air, and Lisa G says some New Yorkers are finding creative ways to reduce the risk.
At New York Fashion Week, one fashion blogger showed up wearing a medical mask with interlocking Chanel seams on it.
Rest online retailers that sells printed filtration masks reports a 25% increase in sales, and Bob Mask, which makes pattern respirator masks, has seen about a 20% uptick in sales.
One doctor at NYU Langone Urgent Care on Manhattan's West Side said masks are good protection from airborne particles, especially after someone sneezes on the subway.
Health Update, Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio.
Looks like there's something to inflation fears that have whipsawed markets recently. The Labor Department's Consumer Price Index jumped 0.5% in January in kind of everything you buy, and 0.3% when discounting food and fuel, which can have wide swings. Both numbers are higher than expected. Overall prices are up 2.1% for the full year, and so-called core prices up 1.8%. And the Federal Reserve has considered inflation too low and has set 2% as a healthy goal.
But with retail sales slowing and the 0.5 percentage point increase in the consumer price index, there are fears inflation could plunge as the new Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell push more aggressively for more interest rate hikes. Sharon Reed, NBC News Radio.
That drop in retail sales was 0.3% in January. Most economists predicted they would increase 0.2%. The Commerce Department says the December sales also were lower than first estimated. Digging deeper, however, overall sales were dragged down in January by disappointing sales of cars and auto parts and gasoline, and many economists think the worst flu season in years also hurt sales overall. Businesses seem to be getting a better handle on how much stuff they need to keep on the shelves for sale. Inventories increased 0.4% in December, and sales were up 6%. So analysts say that is helping businesses pare down what had been an excess of stuff on shelves. The recent market ups and downs combined with higher interest rates may be slowing the housing market. Mortgage applications are way off. Applications to buy fell 6% in the last week, and refis are down 2%. Although purchase applications are still 4% better than this time last year. And if you want a high-paying job in the construction industry and don't want to go to college, consider working on elevators. Elevator installers and repairers earned a median of $80,000 in 2016. That's double the national median for all construction jobs. And the labor department says, unlike most trades that don't require a degree, demand for elevator workers is expected to increase 12% over the next decade because of an increase in office and apartment buildings. Consumer and business news. Joe McConnell, NBC News Radio.
You're listening to NBC News Radio.
Britney Spears is set to be honored at the 29th Annual GLAAD Media Awards in Los Angeles. The world's largest LGBTQ media advocacy organization announced that the Slumber Party singer will receive the Vanguard Award for being a longtime ally of the LGBTQ community. Previous recipients of the award include Demi Lovato, Jennifer Lopez, Janet Jackson, and Cher, among others. The ceremony will take place April 12th at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. Molly is being investigated for alleged sexual assault in England. TMZ reports police have launched a criminal investigation into the rapper after a woman accused him of assaulting her after a December show in Essex, near London. The investigation comes 4 months after Molly was arrested for allegedly raping a woman on his tour bus. Mary J. Blige is starring in a new Netflix series. The singer will be returning to the streaming platform to play a hit woman in The Umbrella Academy, which will be based on a comic book series by My Chemical Romance frontman Gerard Way. The show will track the lives of a family of superheroes who come together to find out who killed their father. Blige will reportedly be playing a series regular named Cha-Cha, who time travels in order to kill. That's entertainment. Lisa G. NBC News Radio.
eBay is working on a few new tricks to make online shopping more fun. Bloomberg says the e-commerce site will debut some augmented reality features that will, for example, let car enthusiasts see how the images of the wheels would look on their vehicles before making a purchase. The company also is considering a program to give sellers credits to entice them to use the money they make on the site. Samsung is still the biggest phone maker in the world. Researcher TrendForce says the Korean electronics giant shipped more than 310 million phones last year, owning almost 22% of the market worldwide. Apple shipped roughly 215 million phones with a market share of 15% worldwide. Facebook is going to set up a romantic mood for you on Messenger. After confirming you're in a new relationship with someone, a Messenger chat will open up that has hearts falling across the screen. You'll be able to set custom emojis and nicknames for the chat, which will now appear at the top of Messenger's active tab. Tech Report, Larry Olson, NBC News Radio.
This is NBC News Radio. On iHeartRadio.
NBC News Radio, I'm Brian Shook. The Miami Herald says law enforcement sources have identified the suspect in today's high school shooting in Parkland, Florida as Nicholas De Jesus Cruz. Some students who survived the shooting claim they know the suspect.
He's just always been a really crazy kid. Like, and I heard some people say that one day he would have done this, and unfortunately I think that was
Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel says the suspect did attend Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School.
From what I understand, there was a time where he did attend the school. I don't know why he left. I don't know when he left.
SWAT teams are still clearing the school. Israel also remarked that he has spoken to Florida Governor Rick Scott and President Trump, and they have pledged to provide as much support as needed. In an afternoon tweet, Trump called the shooting a terrible tragedy and offered prayers and condolences to victims and their families. The president said no one should ever feel unsafe in an American school. Another White House official is reportedly out after being informed he will not be given a permanent security clearance. Tom Roberts has details.
Politico reports George David Banks resigned on Tuesday. Banks told Politico he was informed by the White House counsel's office his application for permanent clearance was not being granted.
He was on the National Economic Council and was a special assistant to President Trump for international energy and environmental policy. His resignation comes as the White House faces intensifying scrutiny over officials who've been operating without full security clearances. Tom Roberts, NBC News Radio.
The U.S. men's hockey team is 0-1 after an opening round loss at the 2018 Winter Olympics. Team USA allowed 3 unanswered goals as they lost 3-2 to Slovenia in overtime. Slovenia tied the game late in the third period before winning it just 38 seconds into OT. Brian O'Neill and Jordan Greenway scored for the U.S., which faces Slovakia tomorrow night. The 2-0 women's team clashes with Canada tonight. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio. Brooklyn District Attorney Eric Gonzalez is calling for a change in a new policy by ICE agents. Lisa G. reports.
DA Gonzalez says the new policy lets immigration and customs enforcement agents arrest undocumented immigrants inside courthouses. He says because of this, witnesses are afraid to go to court and low-level offenders are being pulled out of courtrooms.
We are appealing to them as law enforcement officers not to make these arrests in our courthouses right outside our courthouses.
Gonzalez says his policy jeopardizes public safety. In addition, he says immigrants fear they'll be deported if they show up to court. Lisa G., NBC News Radio, New York.
A recent poll rating Iowa's politicians indicates Senator Joni Ernst's popularity is growing. The poll of 801 Iowans by the Des Moines Register and Mediacom shows a 51% approval rating for Ernst compared to Chuck Grassley's 49% approval rating. The results mark the first time that Iowa's other U.S. senator has rated higher than Grassley in an Iowa poll. It's the highest rating for Ernst since taking office in 2015. Actor Luke Wilson and pro golfer Bill Haas are okay following a deadly crash in the Los Angeles area. Jason Campidonia has details.
A high-priced Ferrari took Wilson's car and then crashed into a BMW last night in the affluent city of Pacific Palisades. Police say the Ferrari flipped over and the driver was pronounced dead at the scene. Wilson was uninjured and Haas, who was a passenger in the Ferrari, was initially taken to the hospital in serious condition, but later released. PGA officials say Haas will now skip tomorrow's Genesis Open. Jason Campidonia, NBC News Radio.
Johnny Football is getting another shot at revving his career. The Spring League announced Wednesday that Johnny Manziel will play for the South Squad during the 2-weekend showcase in Austin, Texas. Manziel's South team will play games on April 7th and April 14th. The Spring League features 4 teams comprised mostly of players with NFL experience. Manziel says his main goal is to make it back to the NFL. Brian Fish, NBC News Radio.
They appear to be in good shape, taking a 2-0 lead into the third period, but the U.S. men's ice hockey team could not finish it off. Disappointing 3-2 loss in overtime against Slovenia in Team USA's opener in the preliminary round at the Olympics. Slovenia scored with 97 seconds remaining to tie it. They got the game winner 38 seconds into overtime. The U.S. will try to rebound when they face Slovakia tomorrow night. Slovakia with an impressive comeback victory over Russia in their debut. Germany won gold and bronze in the men's lose doubles to take over the lead in the overall medal count. The Germans with 12 medals, also first with 7 gold medals. Norway and the Netherlands both have 11 medals. The U.S. is tied for 5th with 7 medals, including 4 gold. The gold medal, Dawn White won in the men's snowboard and halfpipe. White becomes the first snowboarder to win 3 gold medals in a career. It was also the 100th gold medal of the U.S. all-time in the Winter Games. Sports Update, Doug Thompson, NBC News Radio.
The news you want, when you want it. You're listening to NBC News Radio on iHeartRadio.
President Trump is making a case for his big infrastructure plan.
After spending trillions of dollars overseas rebuilding other countries, it is time to rebuild our own country.
Trump says it's not all directed toward big cities.
We're going to spend $50 billion on rural infrastructure and internet access.
He says states will help decide how to spend the money.
They know best the needs of their people.
Trump once again linked foreign aid spending to the crumbling infrastructure.
We spent $7 trillion in the Middle East. It's ridiculous.
With the president's budget plan being roundly criticized as fiscally irresponsible, now the White House is putting a price tag on Trump's proposed military parade. Sharon Reed has the story.
Budget Director Mick Mulvaney was asked about the parade costs during a House hearing on Capitol Hill.
I've seen various different cost estimates from between, I think, $10 million and $30 million, depending on the size of the parade.
Mulvaney says that's a preliminary estimate and says the money is not part of the president's proposed 2019 budget plan.
That's politics. Randy Fuller, NBC News Radio.
This flu season has been brutal, and the CDC says it's not sure we've hit the peak yet. Dr. Brendan Slattery of the CDC is offering tips on identifying symptoms.
Symptoms of flu are pretty much the same no matter what the virus is that's circulating. We look for cough and fever, muscle ache, and just fatigue.
Flu germs are spread through the air, and Lisa G says some New Yorkers are finding creative ways to reduce the risk.
At New York Fashion Week, one fashion blogger showed up wearing a medical mask with interlocking cement seams. Yesterday, retail that sells printed filtration masks reports a 25% increase in sales, and Bob Mask, which makes pattern respirator masks, has seen about a 20% uptick in sales. One doctor at NYU Langone Urgent Care on Manhattan's West Side said masks are good protection from airborne particles, especially after someone sneezes on the subway.
Health Update, Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio.
Looks like there's something to inflation fears that have whipsawed markets recently. The Labor Department's Consumer Price Index jumped to 0.5% in January, and counting everything you buy, and 0.3% when discounting food and fuel, which can have wide swings. Both numbers are higher than expected. Overall prices are up 2.1% for the full year, and so-called core prices up 1.8%, and the Federal Reserve has considered inflation too low and has set 2% as a healthy goal.
But with retail sales slowing and the 0.5 percentage point increase in the Consumer Price Index, there are fears inflation could prompt the new Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell to push more aggressively for more interest rate hikes. Sharon Reed, NBC News Radio.
That drop in retail sales was 0.3% in January. Most economists predicted they would increase 0.2%. The Commerce Department says the December sales also were lower than first estimated. Digging deeper, however, overall sales were dragged down in January by disappointing sales of cars and auto parts and gasoline, and many economists think the worst flu season in years also hurt sales overall. Businesses seem to be getting a better handle on how much stuff they need to keep on their shelves for sale. Inventories increased 0.4% in December, and sales were up 6%. So analysts say that is helping businesses pare down what had been an excess of stuff on shelves. The recent market ups and downs, combined with higher interest rates, may be spoiling the housing market. Mortgage applications are way off. Applications to buy fell 6% in the last week, and refis are down 2%, although purchase applications are still 4% better than this time last year. And if you want a high-paying job in the construction industry and don't want to go to college, consider working on elevators. Elevator installers and repairs earned a median of $80,000 in 2016. That's double the national median for all construction jobs. And the Labor Department says, unlike most gigs that don't require a degree, demand for elevator workers is expected to increase 12% over the next decade because of an increase in office and apartment buildings. Consumer and Business News, Joe McConnell, NBC News Radio.
You're listening to NBC News Radio.
Britney Spears is set to be honored at the 29th Annual GLAAD Media Awards in Los Angeles. The world's largest LGBTQ media advocacy organization announced that the Slumber Party singer will receive the Vanguard Award for being a longtime ally of the LGBTQ community. Previous recipients of the award include Demi Lovato, Jennifer Lopez, Janet Jackson, and Cher, among others. The ceremony will take place April 12th at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. Nelly is being investigated for alleged sexual assault in England. TMZ reports police have launched a criminal investigation into the rapper after a woman accused him of assaulting her after a December show in Essex near London. The investigation comes 4 months after Nelly was arrested for allegedly raping a woman on his tour bus. Mary J. Blige is starring in a new Netflix series. The singer will be returning to the streaming platform to play a hit woman in The Umbrella Academy, which will be based on a comic book series by My Chemical Romance frontman Gerard Way. The show will track the lives of a family of superheroes who come together to find out who killed their father. Blige will reportedly be playing a series regular named Cha-Cha, who time travels in order to kill. That's entertainment. Lisa G. NBC News Radio.
eBay is working on a few new tricks to make online shopping more fun. Bloomberg says the e-commerce site will debut some augmented reality features that will, for example, let car enthusiasts see how the images of new wheels would look on their vehicles before making a purchase. The company also is considering a program to give sellers credits to entice them to use the money they make on the site. Samsung is still the biggest phone maker in the world. Researcher Trendforce says the Korean electronics giant shipped more than 310 million phones last year, owning almost 22% of the market worldwide. Apple shipped roughly 215 million phones with a market share of 15% worldwide. Facebook is going to set up a romantic mood for you on Messenger. After confirming you're in a new relationship with someone, a Messenger chat will open up that has hearts falling across the screen. You'll be able to set custom emojis and nicknames for the chat, which will now appear at the top of Messenger's active tab. Check report, Larry Olson, NBC News Radio.
This is NBC News Radio on iHeartRadio.
NBC News Radio, I'm Brian Shook. The Miami Herald says law enforcement sources have identified the suspect in today's high school shooting in Parkland, Florida as Nicholas de Jesus Cruz. Some students who survived the shooting claim they know the suspect.
He's just always been a really crazy kid. Like, I heard some people say that one day he would have done this, and unfortunately I think that was today.
Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel says the suspect did attend Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School.
From what I understand, there was a time where he did attend the school. I don't know why he left. I don't know when he left.
SWAT teams are still clearing the school. Israel also remarked that he has spoken to Florida Governor Rick Scott and President Trump, and they have pledged to provide as much support as needed. In an afternoon tweet, Trump called the shooting a terrible tragedy and offered prayers and condolences to victims and their families. The president said no one should ever feel unsafe in an American school. Another White House official is reportedly out after being informed he will not be given a permanent security clearance. Tom Roberts has details.
Political reports George David Banks resigned on Tuesday. Banks told Politico he was informed by the White House counsel's office his application for permanent clearance was not being granted. He was on the National Economic Council and was a special assistant to President Trump for international energy and environmental policy. His resignation comes as the White House faces intensifying scrutiny over officials who've been operating without full security clearances. Tom Roberts, NBC News Radio.
The U.S. men's hockey team is 0-1 after an opening round loss at the 2018 Winter Olympics. Team USA allowed 3 unanswered goals as they lost 3-2 to Slovenia in overtime. Slovenia tied the game late in the third period before winning it just 38 seconds into OT. Ryan O'Neal and Jordan Greenway scored for the U.S., which faces Slovakia tomorrow night. The 2-0 women's team clashes with Canada tonight. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio. Brooklyn District Attorney Eric Gonzalez is calling for a change in a new policy by ICE agents. Lisa G reports.
DA Gonzalez says the new policy lets immigration and customs enforcement agents arrest undocumented immigrants inside courthouses. He says because of this, witnesses are afraid to go to court, and low-level offenders are being pulled out of courtrooms.
We're appealing to them as law enforcement officers not to make these arrests in our courthouses or right outside our courthouses.
Gonzalez says this policy jeopardizes public safety. In addition, he says immigrants feel they'll be deported if they show up to court. Lisa G, NBC News Radio, New York.
A recent poll rating Iowa's politicians indicates Senator Joni Ernst's popularity is growing. The poll of 801 Iowans by the Des Moines Register and Mediacom shows a 51% approval rating for Ernst compared to Chuck Grassley's 49% approval rating. The results mark the first time that Iowa's other U.S. Senator has rated higher than Grassley in an Iowa poll. It's the highest rating for Ernst since taking office in 2015. Actor Luke Wilson and pro golfer Bill Haas are okay following a deadly crash in the Los Angeles area. Jason Campidonia has details.
A high-priced Ferrari took Wilson's car and then crashed into a BMW last night in the affluent city of Pacific Palisades. Police say the Ferrari flipped over and the driver was pronounced dead at the scene. Wilson was uninjured, and Haas, who was a passenger in the Ferrari, was initially taken to the hospital in serious condition but later released. PGA officials say Haas will now skip tomorrow's Genesis Open. Jason Campidonia, NBC News Radio.
Johnny Football is getting another shot at revving his career. The Spring League announced Wednesday that Johnny Manziel will play for the South Squad during the 2-weekend showcase in Austin, Texas. Manziel's South team will play games on April 7th and April 14th. The Spring League features 4 teams comprised mostly of players with NFL experience. Manziel says his main goal is to make it back to the NFL. Brian Shook, NBC News Radio.
You're in good shape, taking a 2-0 lead into the third period, but the U.S. men's ice hockey team could not finish it off. Disappointing 3-2 loss in overtime against Slovenia in Team USA's opener in the preliminary round at the Olympics. Slovenia scored with 97 seconds remaining to tie it. They got the game winner 38 seconds into overtime. The U.S. will try to rebound and face Slovakia tomorrow night. Slovakia with an impressive comeback victory over Russia in their debut. Germany won gold and bronze and then lose doubles to take over the lead in the overall medal count. The Germans with 12 medals, also first with 7 gold medals. Norway and the Netherlands both have 11 medals. The U.S. is tied for 5th with 7 medals, including 4 golds. Includes the gold medal Shaun White won in the men's snowboarding halfpipe. White becomes the first snowboarder to win 3 gold medals in a career. That was also the 100th gold medal of the U.S. all-time in the Winter Games. Sports Update, Doug Thompson, NBC News Radio.
The news you want, when you want it. You're listening to NBC News Radio on iHeartRadio.
President Trump is making a case for a big infrastructure plan.
After spending billions of dollars overseas rebuilding other countries, it is time to rebuild our own country.
Trump says it's not all directed toward big cities.
We're going to spend $50 billion on rural infrastructure and internet access.
He says states will help decide how to spend the money.
They know best the needs of their people.
Trump once again linked foreign aid spending to the crumbling infrastructure.
We spent $7 trillion in the Middle East. Ridiculous.
With the president's budget plan being roundly criticized as fiscally irresponsible, now the White House is putting a price tag on Trump's proposed military parade. Sharon Reed has the story.
Budget Director Mick Mulvaney was asked about the parade cost during a House hearing on Capitol Hill.
I've seen various different cost estimates from between, I think, $10 million and $30 million, depending on the size of the parade.
Mulvaney says that's a preliminary estimate and says the money is not part of the president's proposed 2019 budget plan.
That's politics. Randy Fuller, NBC News Radio.
This flu season has been brutal, and the CDC says it's not sure we've hit the peak yet. Dr. Brendan Slattery of the CDC is offering tips on identifying symptoms.
Symptoms of flu are pretty much the same no matter what the virus is that's circulating. We look for cough and fever, muscle aches, and just fatigue.
Flu germs are spread through the air, and Lisa G says some New Yorkers are finding creative ways to reduce the risk.
At New York Fashion Week, one fashion blogger showed up wearing a medical mask with interlocking Chanel C's on it. Alesto, an online retailer that sells printed filtration masks, reports a 25% increase in sales, and Vogue Masks, which makes patterned respirator masks, has seen about a 20% uptick in sales. One doctor at NYU Langone Urgent Care on Manhattan's west side said masks are good protection from airborne particles, especially after someone sneezes on the subway.
Health update, Charlie Kessler, NBC News Radio.
Looks like there's something to inflation fears that have whipsawed markets recently. The Labor Department's Consumer Price Index jumped to 0.5% in January when counting everything we buy, and 0.3% when discounting food and fuel, which can have wide swings. Both numbers are higher than expected. Overall prices are up 2.1% for the full year, and so-called core prices up 1.8%. And the Federal Reserve has considered inflation too low and has set 2% as a healthy goal.
But with retail sales slowing and the 0.5 percentage point increase in the Consumer Price Index, there are fears inflation could prompt the new Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell to push more aggressively for more interest rate hikes. Sharon Reed, NBC News Radio.
That drop in retail sales was 0.3% in January. Most economists predicted they would increase 0.2%. The Commerce Department says the December sales also were lower than first estimated. Digging deeper, however, overall sales were dragged down in January by disappointing sales of cars and auto parts and gasoline, and many economists think the worst flu season in years also hurt sales overall. Businesses seem to be getting a better handle on how much stuff they need to keep on the shelves for sale. Inventories increased 0.4% in December, and sales were up 6%. So analysts say that is helping businesses pare down what had been an excess of stuff on shelves. The recent market ups and downs combined with higher interest rates may be slowing the housing market. Mortgage applications are way off. Applications to buy fell 6% in the last week, and refis are down 2%, although purchase applications are still 4% better than this time last year. And if you want a high-paying job in the construction industry and don't want to go to college, consider working on elevators. Elevator installers and repairs earned a median of $80,000 in 2016. That's double the national median for all construction jobs. And the Labor Department says, unlike most gigs that don't require a degree, demand for elevator workers is expected to increase 12% over the next decade because of an increase in office and apartment buildings. Consumer and Business News, Joe McConnell, NBC News Radio.
You're listening to NBC News Radio.
Britney Spears is set to be honored at the 29th Annual GLAAD Media Awards in Los Angeles. The world's largest LGBTQ media advocacy organization announced that the Slumber Party singer will receive the Vanguard Award for being a longtime ally of the LGBTQ community. Previous recipients of the award include Demi Lovato, Jennifer Lopez, Janet Jackson, and Cher, among others. The ceremony will take place April 12th at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. Nelly is being investigated for alleged sexual assault in England. TMZ reports police have launched a criminal investigation into the rapper after a woman accused him of assaulting her after a December show in Essex, near London. The investigation comes 4 months after Nelly was arrested for allegedly raping a woman on his tour.
Chest pain has diminished. Difficulty breathing has lowered.
Mary J. Blige is starring in a new Netflix series. The singer will be returning to the streaming platform to play a hit woman in The Umbrella Academy, which will be based on a comic book series by My Chemical Romance frontman Gerard Way. The show will track the lives of a family of superheroes who come together to find out who killed their father. Blige will reportedly be playing a series regular named Tasha, who time travels in order to kill. That's entertainment. Lisa G. NBC News Radio.
Working on a few new tricks to make online shopping more fun. Bloomberg says the e-commerce site will debut some augmented reality features that will, for example, let car enthusiasts see how the images of new wheels would look on their vehicles before making a purchase. The company also is considering a program to give sellers credits to entice them to use the money they make on the site. Samsung is still the biggest phone maker in the world. Researcher Trendforce says the Korean electronics giant shipped more than 310 million phones last year, owning almost 22% of the market worldwide. Apple shipped roughly 215 million phones with a market share of 15% worldwide. Facebook is going to set up a romantic mood for you on Messenger. After confirming a new relationship with someone, a Messenger chat will open up that has hearts falling across the screen. You'll be able to set custom emojis and nicknames to the chat, which will now appear at the top of Messenger's active tab. Check report, Larry Olson, NBC News Radio.
This is NBC News Radio. On iHeartRadio.
Probably for the one bumper. NBC
News Radio, I'm Brian Tibbs. The Miami Herald says law enforcement sources have identified the suspect in today's high school shooting in Parkland, Florida as Nicholas De Jesus Cruz. Some students who survived the shooting claim they know the suspect.
He's just always been a really crazy kid, but I heard some people say that one day he would have done this, and unfortunately I think that was today.
Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel says the suspect did attend Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School.
We haven't fully mobilized with caution. After he did not want to be fully mobilized.
Israel also remarked that he has spoken to Florida Governor Rick Scott and President Trump, and they have pledged to provide as much support as needed. In an afternoon tweet, Trump called the shooting a terrible tragedy and offered prayers and condolences to victims and their families. The president said no one should ever feel unsafe in an American school. Another White House official is reportedly out after being informed he will not be given a permanent security clearance. Tom Roberts has details.
Politico reports George David Banks resigned on Tuesday. Banks told Politico he was informed by the White House counsel's office his application for permanent clearance was not being granted. He was on the National Economic Council and was a special assistant to President Trump for international energy and environmental policy. His resignation comes as the White House faces intensifying scrutiny over officials who've been operating without full security clearances. Tom Roberts, NBC News Radio.
The U.S. men's hockey team is 0-1 after an opening round loss at the 2018 Winter Olympics. Team USA allowed 3 unanswered goals as they lost 3-2 to Slovenia in overtime. Slovenia tied the game late in the third period before winning it just 38 seconds into OT. Ryan O'Neal and Jordan Greenway scored for the U.S., which faces Slovakia tomorrow night. The 2-0 women's team clashes with Canada tonight. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio. Brooklyn District Attorney Eric Gonzalez is calling for a change in a new policy by ICE agents. Lisa G. reports.
DA Gonzalez says the new policy lets immigration and customs enforcement agents arrest undocumented immigrants inside courthouses. He says because of this, witnesses are afraid to go to court, and low-level offenders are being pulled out of courtrooms.
We're appealing to them as law enforcement officers not to make these arrests in our courthouses or right outside our courthouses.
Gonzalez says this policy jeopardizes public safety. In addition, he says immigrants feel they'll be deported if they show up to court. Lisa G. NBC Radio, New York.
A recent poll rating Iowa's politicians indicates Senator Joni Ernst's popularity is growing. The poll of 801 Iowans by the Des Moines Register and Mediacom shows a 51% approval rating for Ernst compared to Chuck Grassley's 49% approval rating. The results mark the first time that Iowa's other U.S. senator has rated higher than Grassley in an Iowa poll. It's the highest rating for Ernst since taking office in 2015. After Luke Wilson and pro golfer Bill Haas are okay following a deadly crash in the Los Angeles area. Jason Campadonia has details.
A high-priced Ferrari took Wilson's car and then crashed into a BMW last night in the affluent city of Pacific Palisades. Police say the Ferrari flipped over and the driver was pronounced dead at the scene. Wilson was injured, and Haas, who was a passenger in the Ferrari, was initially taken to the hospital in serious condition but later released. PGA officials say Haas will now skip tomorrow's Genesis Open. Jason Campadonia, NBC News Radio.
Johnny Football is getting another shot at revving his career. The Spring League announced Wednesday that Johnny Manziel will play for the South Squad during the 2-weekend showcase in Austin, Texas. Manziel's South team will play games on April 7th and April 14th. The Spring League features 4 teams comprised mostly of players with NFL experience. Manziel says his main goal is to make it back to the NFL. Brian Swift, NBC News Radio.
They appear to be in good shape, taking a 2-0 lead into the third period. The U.S. men's ice hockey team could not finish it off. Disappointing 3-2 loss in overtime against Slovenia in Team USA's opener in the preliminary round at the Olympics. Slovenia scored with 97 seconds remaining to tie it. They got the game winner 38 seconds into overtime. The U.S. will try to rebound when they face Slovakia tomorrow night. Slovakia with an impressive comeback victory over Russia in their debut. Germany won gold and bronze and then lose doubles to take over the lead in the overall medal count. The Germans with 12 medals, also first with 7 gold medals. Norway and the Netherlands both have 11 medals. The U.S. is tied for 5th with 7 medals, including 4 gold. Each the gold medal. Sean White won in the men's snowboarding halfpipe. White becomes the first snowboarder to win 3 gold medals in a career. It was also the 100th gold medal of the U.S. all-time in the Winter Games. Doug Thompson, NBC News Radio.
The news you want, when you want it. You're listening to NBC News Radio on iHeartRadio.
President Trump is making a case for his big infrastructure plan.
After spending trillions of dollars overseas rebuilding other countries, it is time to rebuild our own country.
Trump says it's not all directed toward big cities.
We're going to spend $50 billion on rural infrastructure and internet access.
He says states will help decide how to spend the money.
They know best the needs of their people.
Trump once again linked foreign aid spending to the crumbling infrastructure.
We spend $7 trillion in the Middle East. It's ridiculous.
With the president's budget plan being roundly criticized as fiscally irresponsible, now the White House is putting a price tag on Trump's proposed military parade. Sharon Reed has the story.
Budget Director Nick Mulvaney was asked about the parade costs during a House hearing on Capitol Hill.
I've seen various different cost estimates from between, I think, $10 million and $30 million, depending on the size of the parade.
Mulvaney says that's a preliminary estimate and says the money is not part of the president's proposed 2019 budget plan.
That's Politics. Randy Fuller, NBC News Radio.
This flu season has been brutal, and the CDC says it's not sure we've hit the peak yet. Dr. Brendan Flannery of the CDC is offering tips on identifying symptoms.
Symptoms of flu are pretty much the same no matter what the virus is that's circulating. We look for cough and fever, muscle aches, and just fatigue.
Flu germs are spread through the air, and Refugee says some New Yorkers are finding creative ways to reduce the risk.
At New York Fashion Week, one fashion blogger showed up wearing a medical mask with interlocking Chanel sleeves on it. Alesco, an online retailer that sells printed filtration masks, reports a 25% increase in sales, and Vogue Masks, which makes patterned respirator masks, has seen about a 20% uptick in sales. One doctor at NYU Langone Urgent Care on Manhattan's west side said masks are good protection from airborne particles, especially after someone sneezes on the subway. Health Update, Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio.
Looks like there's something to inflation fears that have whipsawed markets recently. The Labor Department's Consumer Price Index jumped to 0.5% in January when counting everything we buy, and 0.3% when discounting food and fuel, which have had wide swings. Both numbers are higher than expected. Overall prices are up 2.1% for the full year, and so-called core prices up 1.8%. And the Federal Reserve has considered inflation too low and has set 2% as a healthy goal.
But with retail sales slowing and the 0.5 percentage point increase in the Consumer Price Index, there are fears inflation could prompt the new Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell to push more aggressively for more interest rate hikes. Sharon Reed, NBC News Radio.
That drop in retail sales was 0.3% in January. Most economists predicted they would increase 0.2%. The Commerce Department says the December sales also were lower than first estimated. Digging deeper, however, overall sales were dragged down in January by disappointing sales of cars and auto parts and gasoline, and many economists think the worst flu season in years also hurt sales overall. Businesses seem to be getting a better handle on how much stuff they need to keep on the shelves for sale. Inventories increased 0.4% in December, and sales were up 6%. So analysts say that is helping businesses pare down what had been an excess of stuff on shelves. The recent market ups and downs combined with higher interest rates may be slowing the housing market. Mortgage applications are way off. Applications to buy fell 6% in the last week, and refis are down 2%. Although purchase applications are still 4% better than this time last year. And if you want a high-paying job in the construction industry and don't want to go to college, consider working on elevators. Elevator installers and repairs earned a median of $80,000 in 2016. That's double the national median for all construction jobs. And the Labor Department says unlike most gigs that don't require a degree, demand for elevator workers is expected to increase 12% over the next decade because of an increase in office and apartment buildings. Consumer and Business News, Joe McConnell, NBC News Radio.
You're listening to NBC News Radio.
Britney Spears is set to be honored at the 29th Annual GLAAD Media Awards in Los Angeles. The world's largest LGBTQ media advocacy organization announced that the Slumber Party singer will receive the Vanguard Award for being a longtime ally of the LGBTQ community. Previous recipients of the award include Demi Lovato, Jennifer Lopez, Janet Jackson, and Cher, among others. The ceremony will take place April 12th at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. Nelly is being investigated for alleged sexual assault in England. TMZ reports police have launched a criminal investigation into the rapper after a woman accused him of assaulting her after a December show in Essex, near London. The investigation comes 4 months after Nelly was arrested for allegedly raping a woman on his tour bus. Mary J. Blige is starring in a new Netflix series. The singer will be returning to the streaming platform to play a hit woman in The Umbrella Academy, which will be based on a comic book series by My Chemical Romance frontman Gerard Way. The show will track the lives of a family of superheroes who come together to find out who killed their father. Blige will reportedly be playing a series regular named Cha-Cha, who time travels in order to kill. That's entertainment. Lisa G. NBC News Radio.
eBay is working on a few new tricks to make online shopping more fun. Bloomberg says the e-commerce site will debut some augmented reality features that will, for example, let car enthusiasts see how the images of new wheels would look on their vehicles before making the purchase. The company also is considering a program to give sellers credits to entice them to use the money they make on the site. Samsung is still the biggest phone maker in the world. Researcher Trendforce says the Korean electronics giant shipped more than 310 million phones last year, owning almost 22% of the market worldwide. Apple shipped roughly 215 million phones with a market share of 15% worldwide. Facebook is going to set up a romantic mood for you on Messenger. After confirming you're in a new relationship with someone, a Messenger tab will open up that has hearts falling across the screen. You'll be able to set custom emojis and nicknames for the chat, which will now appear at the top of Messenger's active tab. Tech Report, Larry Olson, NBC News Radio.
This is NBC News Radio. On iHeartRadio.
NBC News Radio, I'm Brian Shook. Authorities are confirming numerous deaths at a South Florida high school today.
It was saddened to say that 17 people lost their lives.
Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel said the dead include both students and adults, but he couldn't say if any of the adults were teachers at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland. Israel identified the suspect as 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz, who is in custody. Israel remarked that Cruz's social media accounts are already being examined by authorities. He also talked to reporters about the weapons used. Doctors in South Florida are refusing to provide an update into the condition of Cruz. Dr. Evan Boyle of Broward Health North said doctors treated him the same as other patients.
Every patient that comes in gets treated as a patient, and we take care of them medically, and that's what we do.
He said the suspect was treated and released into the custody of police. He added that of the 8 patients who were taken to the hospital, 2 died, 3 were critical, and 3 were stable. A single dad in Arkansas is going on the ride of his life thanks to some of his union friends. Tom Roberts has that story.
The 21-year-old walked 11 miles to work at a UPS facility in Little Rock for 7 months. Trenton Lewis has a 14-month-old daughter, Carmen, and says he was emotionally moved by what his co-workers did to help him out. Lewis's fellow UPS employees surprised him with keys to a 2006 Saturn Ion at a union meeting earlier this month. Tom Roberts, NBC News Radio.
Figure skating takes center stage again tonight at the Pyeongchang Olympics. The pairs competition wraps up with the free skate, which starts at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. China is first, followed by the Olympic athletes from Russia and Canada. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio. The IRS is warning taxpayers about a new scam involving tax refunds. Lisa Carter has more.
The tax man cometh, and apparently so do the bad guys. The IRS says thieves steal taxpayer information from tax preparers using phishing and other schemes and use it to file a fake tax return in the taxpayer's name. They then use the taxpayer's real bank accounts to deposit the refunds. That's when they pose as IRS or other law enforcement and call attention to the so-called error and ask taxpayers to return the money to them. The IRS says taxpayers receiving erroneous refunds should contact their tax preparers. They also say the IRS won't initiate contact with taxpayers by phone or email. Lisa Carter, NBC News Radio.
Former Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney is set to launch his campaign for the U.S. Senate tomorrow. Sources close to Romney tell NBC News that he will make his official announcement through social media. He will then give his first campaign speech on Friday night at the Utah County Lincoln Day dinner. Political insiders have speculated that Romney would enter Utah's Senate race since Republican Senator Orrin Hatch announced his retirement early this year. A rock star from the San Diego area wants to fund UFO research. Jason Campidonia has details.
Tom DeLonge is the former singer for Blink-182 and says when he received secret UFO research from a Department of Defense insider, it changed his life. His new company is called To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science, and DeLonge is trying to raise $50 million. DeLonge says his ultimate goal is to build a ship that can warp through space and time. Jason Campidonia, NBC News Radio.
Consumer prices are accelerating higher than expected and fueling wallet-breaking inflation fears. The Consumer Price Index soared past predictions and surged 2.5% in January. The Labor Department believes price pressures are broad-based and reports boosts in areas such as gas, housing, and food. Brian Shook, NBC News Radio.
They appear to be in good shape, taking a 2-0 lead into the third period, but the U.S. men's ice hockey team could not finish it off. Disappointing 3-2 loss in overtime against Slovenia in Team USA's opener in the preliminary round at the Olympics. Slovenia scored with 97 seconds remaining to tie it. They got the game winner 38 seconds into overtime. The U.S. will try to rebound when they face Slovakia tomorrow night. Slovakia with an impressive comeback victory over Russia in their debut. Germany won gold and bronze and then lose doubles to take over the lead in the overall medal count. The Germans with 12 medals, also first with 7 gold medals. Norway and the Netherlands both have 11 medals. The U.S. is tied for 5th with 7 medals, including 4 gold. That includes the gold medal Shaun White won in the men's snowboarding halfpipe. White becomes the first snowboarder to win 3 gold medals in his career. It's also the 100th gold medal of the U.S. all-time in the Olympic Games. Doug Thompson, NBC News Radio.
The news you want, when you want it. You're listening to NBC News Radio on iHeartRadio.
President Trump is making a case for his big infrastructure plan.
After spending trillions of dollars overseas rebuilding other countries, it is time to rebuild our own country.
Trump says it's not all directed toward big cities.
We're going to spend $50 billion on rural infrastructure and internet access.
He says states will help decide how to spend the money.
They know best the needs of their people.
Trump once again linked foreign aid spending to the crumbling infrastructure.
We spent $7 trillion from the Middle East. Ridiculous.
With the president's budget plan being roundly criticized as fiscally irresponsible, now the White House is putting a price tag on Trump's proposed military parade. Sharon Reed has the story.
Budget Director Mick Mulvaney was asked about the parade costs during the House hearing on Capitol Hill.
I've seen various different cost estimates from between, I think, $10 million and $30 million, depending on the size of the parade.
Mulvaney says that's a preliminary estimate and says the money is not part of the president's proposed 2019 budget plan.
Like politics, Randy Fuller, NBC News Radio.
This flu season has been brutal, and the CDC says it's not sure we've hit the peak yet. Dr. Brendan Flannery of the CDC is offering tips on identifying symptoms.
Symptoms of flu are pretty much the same no matter what the virus is that's circulating. We look for cough and fever, muscle aches, and just fatigue.
Flu germs are spread through the air, and Lisa G says some New Yorkers are finding creative ways to reduce the risk.
At New York Fashion Week, one fashion blogger showed up wearing a medical mask with interlocking Chanel seams on it. Alesco, an online retailer that sells printed filtration masks, reports a 25% increase in sales, and Bob Masks, which makes cotton respirator masks, has seen about a 20% uptick in sales. One doctor at NYU Langone Urgent Care on Manhattan's West Side said masks are good protection from airborne particles, especially after someone sneezes on the subway. Health experts Sally Kesley, NBC News Radio.
But there's some continuing inflation fears for whipsaw markets recently. The Labor Department's consumer price index jumped 0.5% in January, as everything down, and 0.3% when discounting food and fuel, which could have a large swing. Both numbers are higher than expected. Overall prices are up 2.1% for the full year, and so-called core prices up 1.8%. And the Federal Reserve has considered inflation too low, and has set 2% as a healthy goal.
But with retail sales slowing and a half a percentage point increase in the consumer price index, our fears inflation could prompt the new Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell to push more aggressively for more interest rate hikes. Sharon Reed, NBC News Radio.
That drop in retail sales was 0.3% in January. Most economists predicted they would increase 2%. The Commerce Department says December sales also were lower than first estimated. Digging deeper, however, overall sales were dragged down in January by disappointing sales of cars and auto parts and gasoline, and many economists think the worst flu season in years also hurt sales overall. Businesses seem to be getting a better handle on how much stuff they need to keep on the shelves for sale. Inventories increased 0.4% in December, and sales were up 6%. So analysts say that is helping businesses tear down what had been in excess of stuff on shelves. The recent market ups and downs combined with higher interest rates may be spoiling the housing market. Mortgage applications are way off. Applications to buy fell 6% in the last week, and refis are down 2%. Although purchase applications are still 4% better than this time last year. And if you're in a high-paying job in the construction industry and don't want to go to college, consider working on elevators. Elevator installers and repairs earned a median of $80,000 in 2016. That's double the national median for all construction jobs. And the Labor Department says unlike most gigs that don't require a degree, demand for elevator workers is expected to increase 12% over the next decade because of an increase in office and apartment buildings. Consumer and business news. Joe McConnell, NBC News Radio.
You're listening to NBC News Radio.
Britney Spears is set to be honored at the 29th Annual GLAAD Media Awards in Los Angeles. The world's largest LGBTQ media advocacy organization announced that the Thunder Party singer will receive the Vanguard Award for being a longtime ally of the LGBTQ community. Previous recipients of the award include Demi Lovato, Jennifer Lopez, Janet Jackson, and Cher, among others. The ceremony will take place April 12th at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. Nelly is being investigated for alleged sexual assault in England. TMZ reports police have launched a criminal investigation into the rapper after a woman accused him of assaulting her after a December show in Essex, near London. The investigation comes 4 months after Nelly was arrested for allegedly raping a woman on his tour bus. Series. The singer will be returning to the streaming platform to play a hit woman in The Umbrella Academy, which will be based on a comic book series by My Chemical Romance frontman Gerard Way. The show will track the lives of a family of superheroes who come together to find out who killed their father. Blythe will reportedly be playing a series regular named Cha-Cha, who time travels in order to kill. That's entertainment. Lisa G. NBC News Radio.
eBay is working on a few new tricks to make online shopping more fun. Bloomberg says the e-commerce site will debut some augmented reality features that will, for example, let car enthusiasts see how the images of new wheels would look on their vehicles before making a purchase. The company also is considering a program to give sellers credits to entice them to use the money they make on the site. Samsung is still the biggest phone maker in the world. Researcher TrendForce says the Korean electronics giant shipped more than 310 million phones last year, owning almost 22% of the market worldwide. Apple shipped roughly 215 million phones with a market share of 15% worldwide. Facebook is going to set up a romantic mood for you on Messenger. After confirming you're in a new relationship with someone, a Messenger chat will open up that has hearts falling across the screen. You'll be able to set custom emojis and nicknames to the chat, which will now appear at the top of Messenger's active tab. Tech Report, Larry Olson, NBC News Radio.
This is NBC News Radio on iHeartRadio.
NBC News Radio, I'm Brian Cook. Authorities are confirming numerous deaths at a South Florida high school today.
We're saddened to say that 18 people lost their lives.
Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel said the dead include both students and adults, but he couldn't say if any of the adults were teachers at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland. Israel identified the suspect as 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz, who is in custody. Israel remarked that Cruz's social media accounts are already being examined by authorities. He also talked to reporters about the weapons used.
I don't know anything about the firearm at this point. He had countless magazines, multiple magazines, and at this point, we believe he had one AR-15 left. I don't know if he had a second one.
Doctors in South Florida are refusing to provide an update into the condition of Cruz. Dr. Evan Boyer of Broward Health North said doctors treated him the same as other patients.
Every patient that comes in gets treated as a patient, and we take care of them medically, and that's what we do.
He said the suspect was treated and released into the custody of police. He added that of the 8 patients who were taken to the hospital, 2 died, 3 were critical, and 3 were stable. A single dad in Arkansas is going on the ride of his life thanks to some of his union friends. Tom Roberts has that story.
The 21-year-old walked 11 miles to work at a UPS facility in Little Rock for 7 months. Trenton Lewis has a 14-month-old daughter, Carmen, and says he was emotionally moved by what his co-workers did to help him out. Lewis's fellow UPS employees surprised him with keys to a 2006 Saturn Ion at a union meeting earlier this month. Tom Roberts, NBC News Radio.
Figure skating takes center stage again tonight at the Pyeongchang Olympics. The pairs competition wraps up with the free skate, which starts at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. China is first, followed by the Olympic athletes from Russia and Canada. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio. The IRS is warning taxpayers about a new scam involving tax refunds. Lisa Carter has more.
The tax man cometh, and apparently so do the bad guys. The IRS says thieves steal taxpayer information from tax preparers using phishing and other schemes and use it to file a fake tax return in the taxpayer's name. They then use the taxpayer's real bank accounts to deposit the refunds. That's when they pose as IRS or other law enforcement and call attention to the so-called error and ask taxpayers to return the money to them. The IRS says taxpayers receiving erroneous refunds should contact their tax preparers. They also say the IRS won't initiate contact with taxpayers by phone or email. Lisa Carter, NBC News Radio.
Former Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney is set to launch his campaign for the U.S. Senate tomorrow. Sources close to Romney tell NBC News that he will make his official announcement through social media. He will then give his first campaign speech on Friday night at the Utah County Lincoln Day dinner. Political insiders have speculated that Romney would enter Utah's Senate race since Republican Senator Orrin Hatch announced his retirement early this year. A rock star from the San Diego area wants to fund UFO research. Jason Campidonia has details.
Tom DeLonge is the former singer for Blink-182 and says when he received secret UFO research from a Department of Defense insider, it changed his life. His new company is called To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science, and DeLonge is trying to raise $50 million. DeLonge says his ultimate goal is to build a ship that can warp through space and time. Jason Campidonia, NBC News Radio.
Consumer prices are accelerating higher than expected and fueling wallet-breaking inflation fears. The Consumer Price Index soared past predictions and surged 2.5% in January. The Labor Department believes price pressures are broad-based and reports boosts in areas such as gas, housing, and food. Brian Swift, NBC News Radio.
They appear to be in good shape, taking a 2-0 lead into the third period, but the U.S. men's ice hockey team could not finish it off. Disappointing 3-2 loss in overtime against Slovenia in Team USA's opener in the preliminary round at the Olympics. Slovenia scored with 97 seconds remaining to tie it. They got the game winner 38 seconds into overtime. The U.S. will try to rebound when they face Slovakia tomorrow night. Slovakia with an impressive comeback victory over Russia in their debut. Germany won gold and bronze in the men's luge doubles to take over the lead in the overall medal count. The Germans with 12 medals, also first with 7 gold medals. Norway and the Netherlands both have 11 medals. The U.S. is tied for 5th with 7 medals, including 4 gold. The gold medal Shaun White won in the men's snowboarding halfpipe. White becomes the first snowboarder to win 3 gold medals in a career. It was also the 100th gold medal of the U.S. all-time in the Winter Games. Sports Update, Doug Thompson, NBC News Radio.
The news you want, when you want it. You're listening to NBC News Radio on iHeartRadio.
President Trump is making a case for his big infrastructure plan.
After spending trillions of dollars overseas rebuilding other countries, it is time to rebuild our own country.
Trump says it's not all directed toward big cities.
We're going to spend $50 billion on roads.
Customer is 0953 0956.
Bravo 430, can you send me a message?
Check for we have pit tried to attack your
5502 IH37 access road northbound. The RPNS Bay 4-door Dodge pickup leading to Florida, notice of removal of the mother at 1202 Golf.
915 to transit 1044. I'm clear from that last traffic stop. Traffic Driscoll to the 200 block of West Rocky. Medical plates. I know you can't run up to X-ray. Nora 573. 2020 Frederick. 2020 Frederick. Contact. Before you turn the block bumper. To the X.
96. No plate. And 200 is not a good number on cockpit. Copper, Medic 13, man down, 1220. going to be a male on the ground? It's going to be at the McDonald's. Patient 910 Tharsky, 910 Tharsky, conscious Gallhar and Lambert. It's going to be a 5-month-old male, conscious and breathing, throwing up. Culture updating, work up fire dispatch 349. 455, is that?
10-4, but I've never picked up after 2100. But okay, we'll do our best because
Sub 425, she's going to open the door.
2045. Drop off.
She's saying she doesn't see anybody out there.
Head over there and see if she's at that church or not.
Pearl 430, come please.
Or if she calls back, I mean, I'm not sure, but
she opened the door and she doesn't see you guys. I'm trying to come out of the place. Pearl 230.
Copy license plate. Boy Sam John 5942.
Boy Sam John 5942. And the other, is that going to be Frank X-ray William 3240?
117 over 61. Send at 97% on room air.
Okay, I'm unable to hear you. You have a lot of static. You might need to talk over it.
7-1 transit. Can you get the gate for me, please?
Are you advising a student left campus?
Red key. What drop off do I have? Her.
Please, 250. Can you spell that last name for me?
No, could you tell me what her drop off is? Yeah, standpoint. 1, point area 59. 301 base. 1044 base. 10-4, thanks for your time. Turn base safety. Base, did you say Sam Piper?
4, stand by.
10-4. We're in the order. We're going to see if medics have been here. 2-1 to base.
I thought she asked.
301B.
Yeah, she asked if there was a unit in the area. I was negative, and then I don't know what she said after that.
Stand by. Threatening to leave campus is what I got.
Okay, well, I guess 69, if you want to head that way, just in case they do leave campus.
Sure.
Someone, thank you.
ACA1, tracking 1,000, on the Green 2.
I know, but you have a whole lot of 45 and then noise has a 1400.
Okay, just give me the ETA. She's just on the phone.
1,002, first stop, NGC's in Asia.
I'm here dropping off on Holly. I have 69 en route to your location, Jeremiah Castillo. That's about all I copied.
Yeah, since she was out with him. That's it. I'll be there in a little bit. KW, I keep forgetting about this. You can't get on the 4910, 4930. Yeah, I do the same thing every day.
334.
Can you show me signal for it? 2746 South Staples, first catch point. Low. Or correction, area 6 low.
Before Ayers, there's going to be an 18-wheeler exiting a parking lot. They got the front end of the truck got stuck. It's blocking the access road. It's going to be westbound.
10-4. I'll check. It's on SPID westbound.
10-4 on the access road.
I got, well, I'll tell you when I get there.
10-4. 40 out there, stuck in the mud. The first one looked like a 20T, but no. Just stuck.
I drove by, I saw him there. I thought he was still backing up. I guess
and then we're rerouting traffic. Hopefully I get a move.
1-10-4, out at Corona. Try 2 area 5 high. Charlie 110, 10-4.
And then the apartment on the left.
Car 130 in the area.
Charlie 130, 10-4. Westbound and Ayers. SPID westbound and Ayers. It's going to be a vehicle blocking the access on the westbound
We've had to arrest him. Left lane is closed. Laguna Shores on ramp. Eastbound is right lane is only through traffic at this time. 1438.
Don't. TJ's Port Horn. Charlie 270. Charlie 270, 10-4.
Okay, and someone else is already there for her? 10-4. Chat 24.
Next 765, 9,000, climbing 15,000, direct worry. Nothing inside. You got your phone handy? Yeah, 10-4. To JFK Bridge, eastbound, causeway to JFK. Bridge eastbound, left lane is going to be closed. Very short, on ramp, eastbound, right lane is going through traffic. At 1439. Still going to be at a subway from that. Mattress or padding, and I just passed.
He's in the field. I'm following him.
It's actually over Nueces Bay Boulevard.
I'm coming in on World Ring.
Which lane is it in? It's going to be in the...
I'm seeing your left.
10.5, climbing 6.
Okay, I see you. I'll show you right in an area. 18, 10 point.
We call the last one a Black Dodge Durango. Black Dodge Durango, okay. De Leon is not on the screen anymore. 15. And I'll be clear from this call.
Got 120, 10 point. That other side? When he's headed back to Wool Bridge. Yeah, let me go back that other way. Clear out of an address in San Antonio, and for John Sam Henry 6536, the insurance is going to be confirmed, expired in 2/15/20.
Okay, on the date of birth, you said 5/18/83, correct?
They're moving automatic.
10-4, thank you.
210?
Yes, ma'am. 10-4. I have local charge. 1602 Irene. That's Demonte. He's not on the screen anymore. Delta 214, Delta 215. Transit D98. 23 correct. 1423 correct. 1602 pickup for Irene. Black shirt, black pants. Demonte is 24-1. Southbound. Not on the screen anymore.
Yeah, it's St. Helena. That is the church next to you. Kingston? They advise they don't know okay, he saw me going back the opposite direction. I wonder can he get through there.
Traffic accident, 901 Leopard. We have a disturbance in progress pending on Shannon, minor traffic accident at the HEB at Moore Plaza, and a welfare concern at Times Market. 10-4. Show me en route to that 605. 10-4.
Getting out of my unit.
I'm on the wrong channel. Phone today, third since yesterday.
Say again?
150, I'm on the wrong channel. I'll switch over to 6. The serial number, but
okay, 10-4.
Out of Arizona, but the models don't match.
23, he's running. And I couldn't keep up with this high grass, so...
54, 120, 50 line. 50 line. Only one for leaving campus at this time? Cancel. Deal with him tomorrow. Another chance. 350.
1443.
Yes, sir. Anyone picking up Michael Watley? No. 171.
171.
Okay. Go ahead and send me a transport over.
I'm here at dialysis at SWAT dialysis. 154, can you transport Bella? And there was no unit, so I'm going to go ahead and take her.
1013 dispatch, individual.
He had a bicycle attached to the rack, and it had
There's 62000 on the 10-2.
10-8 yard, driving in the car. Stuck under the bus.
Full stop, number 706.
That's correct. There were 2 units for her, and didn't take her. Because I had her too, and so did another unit, but I didn't get the unit number. Fine, she's on your route now, so yeah, just take her. If it's on your MDT, just take her.
60706.
912 transit individual.
Michael Watley. Go ahead.
Hi, Carlos.
Still on your...
Yeah, I checked the whole area right there.
4 10-7, 1 on board. I thought it was...
Hello, where you at?
Daytona,
I had towards Waldron right up.
Orlando and Norton.
Alright.
UC is 73. Location's going to be a
37,
73.
I'm going to go around you.
Charlie, 270 case number?
I can transport her now.
10-4, 108.
85, repeat 0085.
Okay, Ramona. Try 10-4. Okay, I'll put you the same date.
1023 is dispatch, individual. 36 to base. 10-4 base. Transit, can you open the gate, please?
Do you know what route?
Copper, medic 71. Medic 71 for a trauma fall.
You did. Start your route.
29869. It's at the Walmart 5 Points.
That's not Bloomington.
Referral. Male patient, approximately 30 years of age. Fell down in the housewares department, possibly dislocated his shoulder. Patient is conscious and breathing. We're working on fire dispatch 1447. 715 transit, individual. 215-10-7. Medic 72, advise you'll take the call.
You have eyes on him. Hold up on the call. Let me get you a backup. So I'll be off the location.
Go ahead. I'll go back to you. Up there 59.
10-4. Okay. It's a disturbance with a deaf suspect. Black female, red shirt, multicolored pajamas. Discovered by loss of 10-4.
Go ahead.
46 to base.
Route 27, 10-7, yes, 100 out. Right here in front of the office. Airline in Ocean at the corner.
10-4.
The BCA. Okay, I'm at Robert in Ocean. Alright. Service. You gotta keep coming down right before you get to airline. It's the right. You can't miss it right before the airline light. What's it called? The Vias of Ocean.
I'm waiting.
It's right here. Right before you get to airline.
1444
airline. I'm right in front of the office here in the front, facing Ocean. 917 to transit for individual line. 10. Charlie 170, you came in with static. Different. Charlie 1. Charlie 110.
123. Mother's been contacted. Mother said just to let him go also. We did advise that we were not going to chase him. 10-4, 1449.
Appreciate it. Regards disturbance with an ex-boyfriend, Juan Torres. He's refusing to leave. He's known to carry a gun, but nothing's been displayed. RP's out front in a black Honda Civic. Suspect drives a white Nissan Cube. Charlie 110, Charlie 210. Charlie 170, Charlie 240. I'm going to have to redirect you.
Transit to 70.
Direct French Ranger 833 is off International, passing 2,100 for 3,000.
Just going through the parking lot. I don't know if that's going to be a good idea. Trying to get some more information if we need to direct them away from, like up on the highway.
Okay, I'm gonna block it off back here, and just put them back on the freeway for now. 370 clear. 10-4. Overdose, Staples at Carmel Parkway. There's city of me behind the bill for a female that was huffing pain. Supposed to be near the shed. Female's unconscious at this time. We'll have to be responding. We're copying this one at 46. Charlie 2, 10-4, units copy. 646 transit base. Step 10 out for fuel.
David White, 1226 to 65 is going to be negative 29. With the driver's license, that is current and clear. 4417, panic drive on a white bicycle.
Charlie 210, copy a plate.
Charlie 210, go ahead.
Out of Colorado, 136, X-ray, Adam, X-ray.
10-4 out of Colorado. GP11. Unit number 1 is going to be George Crescent Boy, George Sam, 3222. GP11, 10-4. Charlie 170, Charlie 240, I'll show you clear. Charlie 170, Charlie 240, I'll show you back en route to that disturbance. Oso, towing. 10-4, 5-8 with the rest.
Base to base, can I have a private please?
I'm mobile by the way.
4 standby.
Dang it.
Also 23, I need a private. Does anyone have Russell Jones on Everhart?
Charlie 270, 10-4. Were you cleared from the call? Highway 77
03, Tom 3, John 10-4.
George David St. Charles 6333. Look for 270. No, 210.
1008 270.
Lipes and Kitty Lane on Charles Boy X-ray, 2405.
Lights in Kitty Lane, Charles Boy X-ray 2405, 10-4.
29, 2016 Honda CRB motorcycle, white in color, to a Christopher Long out of an address in Port Aransas.
Okay, when she comes back, then we'll deal with her.
John David, what?
54 is taking transport.
Or you can just tell us how
123, do you want me to clear this pending for tomorrow?
70 transit.
Family dollar. 330, 340, please.
Staples. 15027 Staples.
She's on the phone.
Hidden mail. Police shirt. Police that was walking around inside the store.
Go ahead, let her go.
You can cancel. She left the scene on a bicycle. 10-4, cancel. Left the scene on bicycle.
That's copy. Go straight car. That's 120. That's Chicken. In contact with Sadie. 1217 2nd Street. Can we reference a burglary that occurred? She witnessed it. The Hispanic male, 5'10", 200, black shirt, took something from a vehicle that was in the parking lot. So it's going to be the parking lot where the construction workers are parking, and she's requesting contact.
One clear out. Okay. Delta 210 is a good right? Delta 210.
28 traffic.
700 concrete. Can you show me a route to that call? Because my computer's showing me that I'm available.
You've been dispatched to the call.
646 transit radio check. Clear me so I can sign off and sign back on so it shows that I'm in route. I guess to read dispatch.
RTA dispatchers, unit 6434, radio check.
Congested.
You're loud and clear as well, 643-10-4.
0178.
Transit base, this is Unit 1001 for a radio check, please.
Not six.
10-4, thank you. 1001, clear.
648
transit, can I get an override on my DRI? Block title 2907.
DP11, 10-4. 2945 Lawton, cross street of Washington. For a mental child that's congested.
Copy, Georgia Nora Victor 1855.
Agent 10, work of the EMS. Santa Fe, Louisiana.
Try 240, 10-4.
PC1 to PC9.
Go ahead, 10-4.
Can you come by the office, please?
Full advise. 10-4.
Medic 10-4.
Danny.
Available.
Delta 120, I'm there.
Delta 120, 10-4.
Charlie 2, 10-4.
Just one pending call, suspicious person, 711 South Parkwood.
Charlie 240, 10-4.
She's at 1217 2nd Street.
Adam 330, I'll be clear 5 8.
Adam 335, 8-4. Adam 320, Adam 338, suspicious person, 706 South Parkwood.
154, Adam Baker.
10-4, arriving.
She's stating that she's 154, 169.
Trying to come into the front.
What information?
Yeah, I got an email from Carol. They said they have paperwork.
Careful.
9 already at Saints.
10-4, we'll pick them up.
Thank you. 952.
952, auto service.
10-4. Item 330 and item 340, y'all can cancel. And then call back to give a correct passcode. Fine. North.
Continuing on land 5.
10-4, 15.
I should have got that one. No, Biggie, I got it. There's no one coming up anyway. I'd just rather be safe and sorry.
665 eastbound County Road 22A, Texas LP, Paul, Victor, 108.
10-4. 665 County Road 22A. 10-4.
31.
Go ahead.
Jones area on Yorktown, close to the school zone. Just patrol.
At Jones on Yorktown, 10-4.
There's a monitoring traffic.
10-4.
Medic 10 on 3.
Medic 10-4. All I heard was one of the teachers, and that's all that came through.
We might need a medic. The teacher's name is Tyla Wilson, EWYLA. Date of birth 8679.
10-4, where's she going to be located?
I'll advise you if we're going to need the medic after all.
Okay, 10-4, I'll be standing by.
Hospital until midnight. 10-4. 156, show me at the admin building. I'll be doing the board meeting.
10-4. Go ahead.
John Henry X-ray. Affected progress at 4531 Airs, 4531 Airs. Contact James Fry, RP advised the Hispanic male came in, grabbed stuff and left. Hispanic male left the location in a red van. He was wearing a blue jacket, blue jeans, last seen on Airs towards SPID. Stole a nail gun and a tape measure. RP spilled alcohol on his breath. There were 3 people in the van. Listed name is going to be Southern Bethany, being Southern Carlson, Suite 302.
Male. In a black jacket, blue jeans, female in a jacket, blue jeans.
10-4.
Arguing.
Section level.
The male had against the
Charlie 138, 10-4. Charlie 230, I'll show you there.
store.
Charlie 2 clear. sequence number on this?
Salesforce, 1801-7816.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Charlie 2. Charlie 2, we have a disturbance in progress at 6109 Mahoney. RTA was referencing an ex-employee that was refusing to leave. He ended up leaving, and he said he would call back if PD was needed. Do you want us to cancel, or you still want us to send units out there? Cancel. Charlie 2.
Studies, conscious, difficulty breathing, the 39-year-old female. Doing the nurse's office, hospital updating, call for New York EMS 1 at 1503.
What is it?
Clear. Charlie 160 clear.
Where? Ladder 15?
No worries, just all the way here behind
Charlie 210. Charlie 210.
Would you start a rotation wrecker, we got a truck tractor with a trailer. The truck tractor is stuck in the mud on the median between the access road and the freeway.
Advise it's stuck on the median?
Correct. It's in the mud. The tires are, submerged to the axles in mud.
12879.
2879?
4930 location.
Charlie clear 10-7 Life, City Lane. Henry Lincoln Victor, 220.
Lights in Kitty Lane, Henry Lincoln Victor, 2209.
Charlie 60, I'm going to share out to this animal by
Charlie 130,
Charlie 130.
Males with medic, Parsons PD.
Charlie 260, Charlie 2.
10-4.
50, she needs run.
10-4.
Yeah, 10-4. Charlie 310, I'll be clear from here. I'll see that.
Delta 120 of 230, check the welfare at 2112. 16th Street.
He is advising he doesn't want to speak to anybody anymore.
Attempting to contact the James Bar. Like the RP received a call stating that he was getting threats from his son.
The 121 inbound.
Tommy, go ahead and cut off from there. I got the gate.
Station, heading out.
Appreciate it. I'll see you in order. 1005 to dispatch for individual.
Well, thank you.
That's 504.
Charlie 160.
10-4.
37, third party, since male was intoxicated, belligerent.
Yeah, can you give me the call on Times Market?
Charlie 160, you advise the one at the Times Market?
Gas point on the door. Line disconnected, no other information. Point at the point contact.
Yo, check. Downstairs. 10-4.
I know you're busy, but do we just pay attention to the pop-ups and ignore the paper manifest?
Just use both.
Okay, that's what I needed to know.
Charlie 210, is this going to be a large record?
Yeah, and if you want to, when the pop-ups come up, call them out. So, Mr. somebody at 13, whatever. Just kind of call it out so maybe if somebody else has it on their manifest, they can let them know who's going to transfer to.
ID 1958. Go ahead.
William 20, myself, William 30, and 405. We have 4737 Phillip.
40 today.
3737 Phillip.
40 on that with Adam 330.
10-7. 651, go ahead. 1632, have a great day.
Charlie 210.
37, sure, had a little light shot, not too bad though.
The address the truck is going to be in front of is 2914 SPID.
4930
4930, clear?
clear. by is 3737 Phillips.
4737 Phillips.
10-4, and it was William 20, William 30, and what was the third unit?
405.
Flight Carol. I'm pretty sure probably 146 requested it. He'll be on channel 2 unless you want me to call him.
Nah, I'm going in. I'll call him up too.
Okay, 10-4.
169146.
Dispatch 70. BC 2 to BC 9. 351. Go ahead. Hey, keep an eye on that People Street. The attorneys over there claiming that they're parking longer than 15 minutes. Try 350. Not a clue, my brother.
0091. William 20.
Are you down by Laguna Shore? 4930 traffic. Or down back to the high school bandstand? Antelope by Lawrence?
No, I was a little bit ago, but I mean, away from there. What's up?
There was a black driving reckless down Graham, went over to Laguna and then turned south. Pretty high rate of speed. Just wondering if you could check on it down there. Yeah, all those 40s, 50s, 70s, 80s are usually right on that little
And side mirror.
Brownie. By Lawrence and Antelope.
That female driver. Now on upriver going towards the freeway. No additional 1511.
Go ahead, sir.
We'll try 2230.
10-4.
150, I'll be 5'8". Show me around to building number 5, please. Need to appear, guys.
Charlie 150, 10-4.
Need to test it.
Yeah, form. Adam 3
1520, 1530. 1004 transit, 10-8.
Go ahead, 20.
Now we take our 140. You have any blue forms?
That's a good question.
I have two spots out. I'm not sure where this accident took place or how serious it is, or we can just have DPS go out there.
10-4. Yeah, I'm right here on 46 and 73. I'll check it out. If I need one, I'll go ahead and get a hold of you.
For the subject, Medina, showing ID, not going to be eligible, suspended surcharge to no DL.
10-4, sure now. Contact Vivius. Number 5.
1940, I'm traffic. 37 north at Upriver, and the plate's John Lincoln Henry 4083.
37 Upriver, John Lincoln Henry 4083.
130.
Charlie 130. Your case number is going to be 92, repeat 0092.
Charlie 150, arriving.
Charlie 1.
Adam 320 tomorrow.
Still at the 120 there.
120 tomorrow. Was William 20 and 30?
49 and 24-8 with 240.
You're out over there? Negative. I think it was info. They were trying to make some type of call. I'm not sure what exactly it was. Okay, 10-4.
10-4. You took that call at the theft, right, or whatever? No. The one at Dollar General? Yeah, who took that one? I was on the call, but they didn't know what else she took. It was a small, one of those handheld baskets. And they didn't know what more she had taken. Okay, I got that call. First name Phil, spelling Paul, Henry, Ida, Lincoln. Date of birth is 5/21 of 74.
Are you out on a call?
Yes, I was with William 20 at 4737. driving. They just pulled into residence over here.
It's 5021.
Guatemala. Last name spelling Charles, Union X-ray, Union Mary. First name Ephraim, Edward Frank Robert, Adam, Ida, Nora. Date of birth is 7/17 of 68. Correction, 6/17 of 68.
He said customer urinated on himself, sir. She was talking to corporate. Okay, because I'm at border right now. What route is he? Over there. Route 9. That's not the wrong thing over there, but not for. Yeah, this manager here is what? What is it? 705 or just all around, man? Okay. Yeah, I was gonna. Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna wait for the plane is walking out of the full stop. On the car, but we didn't do nothing.
Sure, it's 4410 Dillon Lane.
Yeah, let's go over there.
Number 28.
Yeah, I guess the play that came back to it. I've got 2-2s out on my clear for third.
Yeah. Ayala?
Yeah, 4-2 location.
2741 disturbance to occur at 5801.
And he's going to
State Board at the Shell Station at
1017.
Staples in Burnham, 5801.
E like boy, E like
RPA
Edward,
last week a male
A
tried
like Harry,
to abduct his
M
grandson.
like Mary, A like
He's
Apple,
the male at the
N
Shell
like Nancy,
Station.
N like
RP's
Nancy.
parked at the shopping center near the gas station.
Planning thing, just get the case number. I can still do that. If I made one. No, I don't mind. I'm just trying to figure out a way to punish them for what they did, you know? I don't get away for free. Yeah, it was her by herself, but not. She did have some witness
Seizure patient 10325.
Is this the whole doctor or?
10325 contact.
Yeah, the little hand roll back.
It's going to be apartment 505 for a 54-year-old male.
Someone's your code 1 tomorrow.
Breathing okay. They're advising he just had a seizure and he's not waking up from the seizure, but he is moving around.
Check lung sounds, clear lung sounds. We have current vitals of 146 on 66. Her heart rate is 96.
2-1 to make sure.
Stand at 98% on room air. Her temperature is 100.7. Her finger stick is 132. Our ETA is about 10 minutes. 4649 Christie Street. You're going to call me with Frank. No patient. Get my message? Yeah, I just got it. Call me working on 5-15.
It's going to be a Yukon XL license plate Charles John 5 Charles 091. Repeat, Charles John 5 Charles Ocean 91.
12, bud. I'll be working on that. Still out here at Meadowbrook. That subject never came in. I think around work traffic. Somebody's going to be in the garage, like somebody possible DOA. We'll have Peter responding. I'll be working on PMS 515.
Right, 240, 10-4.
With the legally parked vehicle, James Frank John 4714.
4784 or 54?
4714. W100 block. Expire 06 boy 4712. Delta 110. Show me out the BOA for now. 5334 clear.
5334,
Every time I turn it off, the whole system goes down.
150 negative 29, King Frank, John 4714. October 2018, it's a 2010 Chevy Silverado pickup, white in color. It's registered to a Fernando Mendoza, 4621 Dodd Drive, this city. Insurance is unconfirmed.
Unconfirmed? Charlie 330.
Unconfirmed.
But what time does that close? Does anybody know?
William 20 arriving?
William 20,
They'll use the knife to cut.
Alright, you have time to go take him back. Take him back. You can drive around and then go back. 169. I've got the paperwork and clearing and route to HQ.
Charlie 2.
837 to 70.
Charlie 2, just be advised, we have a burglary just occurred at the King Square Apartments. A drive-by not in progress, pending on Shaw Street. PI subject at Woodbury Place. Theft just occurred. Burglary not in progress at the Mount Carmel Retirement Home, pending on Patrol 3.
Medic 72 car.
Now they have insurance.
10-4. 1521.
On state
This is Anderson, Medic 72. We're coming code 1-2 with a 50-year-old male patient. No local dog, conscious and alert. Playing a severe right shoulder pain. It looks like it might be dislocated. He fell from a standing position, landing on his right shoulder. Neurologically, he is intact. He's got good sensation, but the hand is a little cold to the touch. Pulses are intact as well. Initially rated the patient by 8 on 1 to 10 scale. He's had a total of 10 of morphine. He's rated about 4 to 5 now. Current bio BP is 167 on 99. Heart rate is 98, almost miles on the monitor, set 95 on room. Respiratory rate of about 18. And 18 is established with a left AC with a finger stick of 97. No history, no meds, no allergies. ETA is about 5 minutes.
Redirect you with RP by the mill location, Richard Custis attempted to stab them. Suspect being wearing white cap, black jacket, call still being updated.
Shows that the passing Ben's end.
I'll have to leave my mic off until tomorrow. I take it to Davy Wells. I just got off the phone with him.
Yeah, the RP.
Hey, sir, Jumbo. General Aviation. Alert 2, General Aviation. Is that accident or what?
2 emergency commercial general aviation. First one will be 3 minutes out on runway 13. It's going to be an emergency fuel issue. The second one will be a helicopter, 5 to 7 minutes out. Also on runway 13. Souls on board are not known at this time.
144 RTA dispatch.
Block 39 to base.
Be rolling till 10. 1940, I'm clear.
Next, please, 1.
913, transit individual. 4-1 is looking good. 100 feet off.
Still on Oso.
To them, so I'm not sure who.
Crawford Battalion
They're
1.
still on my
Passing
Okay, what was the other one? Tell me the one the other one you're back.
Crawford Battalion 1. Engine traffic.
Alonso, Matthew, and San Paul.
For a commercial aircraft
There'll be the jet of fourth one, but I don't remember what the name is.
International
Okay.
Airport.
But they're still on the MDT.
On emergency fuel. Resident course goes on board.
Does anybody have room for if they go to anchor at 1600 or Matthew? Or, oh yeah, probably Matthew, because John Paul and Alonso go to the same house.
Reference position of a 900, 375-8. SSS, that's 1022. The janitor was there.
Traffic 64007.
Route 40 going behind first.
I will be stopping 200 block of Sinclair.
Yeah, if you want to come up to
377 showing negative 29%. Fires May of 2018, 1940. Silver in colors to Kathleen, right?
Yeah. 37 north at navigation. Plates Frank Paul William 4661.
1940, 1040.
Calls Adam Lincoln Young Nora. A white female
DOB is 515 of 96.
2800 October.
Remember that guy over the north side that lit off all the firecrackers? And ended up being the
Charge 240. Last update shows that they're westbound on Oso Parkway, still going slow. Suspect vehicle turning right onto Lake Drive. On Lake Drive.
Confirmation.
George Davis.
This is the one you're calling Charles 7 Frank 484. Adam, you can clear traffic.
For Charles 7 Frank 484.
It shows confirmed.
Thank you.
George Zebra, George Davis.
You're welcome.
Where's that reference to? Evan Hart, no show.
Yeah. I'm trying to find it.
Delta 120, I'll be clear comment.
Question with Redwood, Galahar, for a 79-year-old female. Information is looking at possibly working off EMS 1 at 1527. Stand by. The what? No, he's not hurt at all.
So Army 28, San Mix 3 Zebra, 475, San Mix 3 Zebra, 475.
For reference of 41, quick.
Sam X-ray 04875.
475. How about that? 28.4 so far. Long Lake is going to be off of Oso Parkway. From Yorktown and Oso on Oso Parkway, and it's you'll see the intersection on Long Lake Drive.
I'm not quite sure who goes on Ponder Street. Is it Leland Webb?
220?
Can you check two of them for me?
Well, go ahead. 10-4 Leland
Flight 2000
Webb
Salon,
goes on Ponder Street.
F-E-L-A-N.
Leland Webb on Ponder Street.
10-4. Door case number 94.
Automatic. Sent that to you, okay?
Sergeant impound.
37 to base. I'm not quite sure. This was a pop-up. Could you please tell me Leland Webb does live on Ponder Street?
Go ahead. Hey, so right here, no land, nobody in, is that right?
Yes, Sam. Somebody said 10-4.
Okay, I heard a lot of stuff, so I wasn't sure if it was directed at me. Thanks.
Charlie 170, go ahead.
10-4. Route 50, did you get that? 10-4?
It's going to be David Robert, Zebra, 0257.
10-4, I had it on the back. Follow my ranger.
David Mary,
10-4, thank you, 50.
Charlie 170,
6303 to base. Can you yard? 4 loud and clear. Go ahead, 22.
There's two people.
Charlie 240, 10-4.
No, 2 went. I dropped off 2 this morning.
They sent here, point next maintenance, and nobody coming out.
Tell me, because I have 3, well, actually 4 men, and can you tell me who was the other one?
I don't know her name, but it's a lady that goes with that guy on Ponder.
Charlie 248, with a lot of static. I copied George Sam Henry, 8780.
Okay, I just have men, so that's okay. Thank you so much, because these were
George Sam,
We're on 870 outside the gate.
22, they're coming out.
Thank you.
220, is your radio secure for MC?
One aircraft.
For Tiffany Fallon, 12-9 of 81, she's going to have 1 MC warrant, a bench warrant for theft into the value of $100, 2-1 of 2018. She's going to have an ID card only that's current but not eligible out of an address in Robstown. And for Steve Sanchez, 917 of 78, he's going to be negative 29 with an ID card only that's current and clear, 921 Duncan, the city.
Temple, can you go ahead and forward that over to
17 confirmed. 4066. Charlie 160, Castors and Holly, 10-4. Charlie 270, location
Paul Nora 7833.
George Paul Nora 7833 at Tiger and Carroll 10-4.
220 3000.
We have a lot of medical issues.
Engine 9, 10-4.
47, please. I need a 10-7 right here on Everhart.
Delta 2. Delta 220 now, Delphi Mall Custody.
Adam, 340. Sharpsburg, Center Point 4655, Sharpsburg.
169. Can you public service? LLC on this following here on got out Fred somewhere to confront this guy. And so about a knife. That's about it. No injuries.
Case number 9696.
Yeah, that's all.
Charles Sam 5, King 824. Charles Sam 5, King 824.
En route to your location.
Go ahead, Mediman.
Just waiting on one more. Walk down the driveway where the back man is taking leave. The helicopter.
Copy that, 116.
Just want us to wait. Valley on Charles, John Charles, 479. Taiwan, I'm on scene, Austin Command. All units except for Engine 9,
Go ahead.
9, and Battalion 1.
10-4. All units except for Engine 9 Medical and Battalion 1 10-4. 254-383-7209 10-4.
Rescue 3, same traffic.
Bravo 160, I'm traffic. Try 360.
260 location.
Walter and Castle Park, George Shorts, Victor 4481.
Water and Castle Park 10-4.
Okay, what's up?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, go over by the downwire by airport.
When I'm going to shopping mall, in between which,
Okay, no, I'm coming from North Beach stuff. That's fine, just hurry and get there.
Killer.
310, I'm supposed to be
Put myself all the way around. Assignment there?
Yeah, airport, go across the street, just over the parkway right there. Expires 2022, kind of clear the city, and a standby on road.
That's 210 on 10-4.
Alright, guys.
0825. I really don't know where that is. 0825-0529.
It's in the block.
Route 270B.
I'm at a mall 5488 SPD, caught a fire protection advising and work is complete on the sprinkler system. Work is complete on the sprinkler system in Rider Room 3 at 1535.
39 to supervisor on duty. Can you call me to private?
Okay.
31 to base.
You're gonna be helping me out.
Show me clear from this call in 2900 block of State Highway 358 westbound on a vehicle crash minor.
Dispatch, can you open the gate, please?
There you 10 like that.
Route 380, I'm 10-8.
Okay.
4910 on Booker.
Route 40 to base. Can I have a private?
377 showing negative 49 with a 54-year-old male patient of Dr.
Route 27 to base.
I'm Route 2 transportation, please.
Can you give me an extra pickup here in Brush Country?
He only states that he does have brain damage that led to a dementia. And a year ago, the same episode happened to him, and he's having a brain automatic time.
Got a return to deal?
Not normally able to talk to, but he's alert to his surroundings. Currently, he's not alert to his surroundings. Blood pressure is 170 over 58. Pulse rate 90 irregular. And temperature 95. We've got him on O2, and we're attempting to get him.
Does it look like he's moving, Roger?
We're probably about 5
Texas ID
minutes out.
0825-1529, not eligible.
Station from
South.
For Texas DL 00563079.
That's 844 off, Corpus International, passes 3000 for the last day. That'll be 2 gates, go about that. You can show me clear.
28 traffic, 50 simple.
28, okay. Go ahead and give me that disturbance at Southport, South Side.
plates, you have a lot of steps.
He was going to be the victim of that.
What if smart glasses didn't make you look like a techno cyborg jerk? That's exactly what Intel is making. These smart glasses are called Vaunt, and they're completely different from what you're expecting. What's amazing about these glasses is they look normal, and they feel really light in my head. They only weigh about 50 grams. They're designed to do just one thing, show you simple, basic information in one of your eyes. It has this little red monochrome projector that shines an image on a holographic mirror thing, which then bounces it directly into my eyeball, so I don't have to focus on it, it's just sort of down there. But the best part is that if you're not looking just slightly down to the display, it completely disappears, so it's not distracting you.
The other thing is you don't have to be tapping and swiping and doing whatever you might do like you did with Google Glass. There's no camera here. It's meant to be non-intrusive, non-annoying in social situations. But you can do little subtle things. Like if a notification comes in and you want to read it, you can just kind of look over and it'll slide in, or you can dismiss it like that.
Vaunt glasses are a prototype project from Intel's new devices group, and later this year, developers are going to be able to start using them. Now, they do need to be fitted to your eye's interpupillary distance so that the display can actually line up to your eyeball. So we went into Intel's lab in San Francisco to try them out.
Take a look. Tell me what you see. I see a red... I see an incoming call from CEO Brian Kazanich. It fits in your face, and it's basically, it's a heads-up display. It's just displaying some red text here that I'm just seeing right below my standard line of vision. How on earth is this thing showing me a heads-up display? Because I don't see it on the glasses. In fact, I don't even... Oh, right there. I can finally see this thing is projecting into my eye.
That's right.
How is it? Is it a laser? What's the story?
It is a VCSEL.
A VCSEL. What is a VCSEL?
Vertical cavity surface emitting laser.
Is this a safe thing to have?
Absolutely. It's so low power. It's at the very bottom end of the constant laser.
We have to integrate very, very power efficient light sources, MEMS devices for actually painting an image. We use a holographic grating embedded in the lens to reflect the correct wavelengths back to your eye. The image is called retinal projection, so the image is actually painted into the back of your retina. If you wear prescription glasses, the prescription is used for looking at the world, but not for the image we send you. You can have terrible vision and still see bright, sharp, clear image that looks like it came from infinity.
I know what you're thinking. A thing that shows notifications in my eyeball all the time is awful. Intel is very aware that you think that's awful. So they're trying to be really smart about the stuff that it shows you. It's trying to only show you really contextually important information. When these things are available to buy, what is it going to do? Like, what sort of things is it going to enable? Is it just going to be, all my Twitter mentions rolling in my eye all the time? Because that sounds awful.
It's not. Okay. As you're walking around understanding where you are, that restaurant or that restaurant, which one has a better Yelp review? As I'm leaving my car, getting instructions to where I was actually going, not where I parked. Simple things that are, you're in the kitchen, you're cooking, and go, Alexa, I need that recipe for cookies, and it just appears on your glasses. We are providing a level of behavioral AI to our system that allows us to figure out what to show you when.
Why would I feel like I need a pair of smart glasses, especially when I could also get like a smart watch that can also show me notifications all the time?
When I saw the first
program, so developers can get units and start making stuff that works with the Vaunt.
The apps processor is and help you compute.
Is
both hands on the cart, eyes scanning the aisles for the...
You can't really tell when somebody is paying attention to something on a Vaunt. Only the person wearing the glasses can see it. We're a little ways from needing to worry about those social questions. But whether Intel releases smart glasses first or somebody else beats them to the punch, this technology is definitely coming.
So I'm talking to you right now, and you feel like you mean so much, and I'm actually playing it with you again right now.
Terminate, local 1331. He was driving the car now? Well, he was asleep, but he knows where the back is at. Remain the same, 3,000. No, we haven't heard. Of course. And for Boomer 724, and if we could get a climb for about another 1,000 feet, then you'll cancel. 4,000 Boomer 724.
Charlie 3 What do you think about this inbound? Rapid loss prevention. Female that's having trouble. They've had trouble in the past and wants to see you.
They're lying about everything. They know the RTA. Sorry. All that.
I had the info send that warrant over to CBC.
Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna go get this stuff real quick. If you find a basket, you can take it back to you. If not, I'm not gonna worry about it.
Q4 is VFR canceling iPhone.
350 and 370 will be a white female, gray shirt, blue jeans, with a large blackbird. Go ahead with the plate.
The plate is a buyer's tag and it's 27 George 5163.
7 George 5163. 10-4.
I'm gonna be en route to the 609 South Peoples. 2-4, you can cancel the other unit. There's nobody out here.
Adam 340, you're in line.
230, clear. What is my number?
Texta.
315, 1044. Real 770. No rush.
Adam 330, back up Adam 340, 11,800 upward.
It's going to be in the back parking lot for subject 13. There'll be a white pickup and another vehicle. Only description on one subject. Black house, white tank top.
230, Temple.
You said you're back at the office?
Yep.
Hey, can you call 8309 and SS04 remote in and install Coban?
Okay, 10-4.
Or fix it?
Thank you, Chris. You can reach the center 12500.
I appreciate it. It's 8309. Thanks.
Okay, yep.
Out of an address in Kingsville, and for that LP that's coming back to a 2011 Chevrolet Impala 4-door. It's going to be silver in color to a Josefa Vela, 6210 Beechwood Drive, this city. It expires 3/12/2018.
10-4. Is there insurance information attached to that tag?
Or Ramon.
Negative.
So this
Contact 1 is going to go to 4326 Shannon to pick up some property. He'll be in a white cube. Contact Nora, along with the other vehicle release, the 2003 Chevy Trailblazer Blazer for Danny. And then there'll be a citizen needing to get property out of a vehicle, 1999 Pontiac. Keys are in record.
It's going to be 1-800-7617-5400. 1-800-255-5400.
Yeah, I have one here.
That's going to be the after hours public line.
the actual impound key is in dispatch.
Del 210.
Right.
410.
10. I'm on 18. Tango 4 more below apartment.
Liking 17.
10-4.
In about 10 minutes, we'll go fill them up.
10-4.
4, stand by.
I'll be at 609 Washington Avenue on the follow-up. Party 270 location. 509 Washington Avenue, Tiger Lane. Henry Boy X-ray 2954. 3800 block of Tiger Lane, Henry Boy X-ray 2954. 10-4.
First name Sarah with an H. 10585. Should have some MC. Let me know for license is valid.
10-4, stand by.
Yeah, I'm going to take my chance at it. You have a call at 910 Square.
10-4.
The one at 1001 Montana, reference a stolen phone.
Show me around. Is that
arrived yet, or no?
Negative, it's still pending.
No problem, I'm a ways off.
I'll start unit when they clear.
Delta 210, 10-4. Delta 230, you straight. Delta 210, advise you can cancel. 230 clear.
Go ahead,
There first or to Aspen Grove? She said she was going to deviate, but I thought it was going to be longer. But I need her to meet me as soon as possible. Route 39.
For Brandy Rios, 715 of 81, she is going to be 29 out of Nueces County for marijuana possession. And she is going to have 4 MC warrants. And for Sarah Kincaid, she's going to have 4 MC warrants. And she's going to have an ID card that expired in 2013 that is eligible. 719 Lantana Street, Lot 14, the city.
Okay, so those look like they wanted to fight during the parking lot. Last thing knocked on him. SPID.
Did you pick up the fourth supposed at Valdera?
Yes, it's just one and I'm working it and then I'm coming back to get my papers.
Alright, 10-4, I got 2 fours supposed at the same address for you also. 854 Lantana. They'll be here when you get here.
MC warrants to CDC and to confirm in fax on the 29th. And do you advise to send the driving records for Sarah as well?
Go ahead and give me Owen and Morgan.
Adam 350, I'm in the area.
130, Mommy clear, 5-8.
10-4, did it pop up?
Check.
230, sure going out.
10-4, unit 919 clear.
Male, gray sweatpants, walking in the street, looking under vehicles, possibly
Is 6-3 still working? The Bella arrival, 10 or better on the speed. And then do you need the speed at Bella, or would you like to keep it up there as well?
To a disturbance in progress at the McDonald's at SPID westbound and Staples 5560 SPID westbound 5560 SPID westbound. There's going to be a disturbance with 3 transients refusing to leave. They're outside the store facing the mall by the door. 3 males all wearing jackets, several bags and backpacks. RP is going to be an employee contacted as Santos.
130, we're out.
Hey, Tommy there?
1526,
clear? Yeah, he was driving the car. She said she ran and jumped in the car. There was a guy driving. He sped off.
That'll work. Looks like he couldn't find the basket.
Is he back or what? He just pulled up. What do you think? Should we take him both? He drove the car, right? Yeah, so I'm thinking. He jumped in the car and sped off.
Wait, old Brown, so 10-4.
Yeah, she described him to a T.
After 11 clear.
Red hat and all, or what? Yep, she said, described how it was wearing and everything. They looked right at him, he took off. It was the guy, come on, house is over here. What happened? You know where to go to the basket, you know what I mean?
History of COPD. Lung sounds are clear. She is on homo 2 at 2 liters per minute. We have an IV established. EKG shows sinus rhythm with occasional PVCs. 12 lead was transmitted to you. Current vitals are 170 over 98. Respirations are at 20. 93 beats per minute. She's setting at 99% on O2, and she has a finger stick of 88. We do have the patient position of comfort. We should be at your facility in about 7 minutes.
Turn right out. Right out to Beagle PD.
You go for Beagle PD.
1040, all page out for Pawnee Fire Department.
10-4, I tried to attack her husband earlier.
me, and were you talking about 10th Street?
Through P County, yes, so.
Yeah, 10-4. Or 11th Street, P County? Those guys. Well, it's going to be a while.
P County, go ahead, live vote.
Charlie 2.
You get there.
Charlie 2 should be advised to have a property call at Tom Brown Middle School. PI subject at the Woodbury Place Apartment. Death just occurred at the Bells in Port Nears, and a burglary not in progress at the Mount Carmel Retirement Home. Pending on patrol 3.
I got back to 1,500. Come where you're at.
Bell 240 clear.
I'm good. You want to take him or to leave there?
Bell 380.
16 Paul, all at the main office.
Bell 380 arrived and clear.
1,000 for vectors for the low flies, and we'll take another low flies after this, sir.
128
Well, you want to just take her, or you take them both?
128 East Avenue D in Robson. Charlie 270 location.
3900 Tiger, John Henry X-ray 1855. 706 with going to the staff parking lot in front.
3900 Tiger, John Henry X-ray 1855 Timber.
Dollar General School. I think that's how we'll take her. Yeah, we are taking the car, so it's functional. Yep. You should approve it on her. 5166. I'm alright.
458 Adam 320, copy.
Bell 280, they didn't advise of apartment.
C166 on scene at 5802 Academy.
More, can you switch over to info?
982 220.
That's one. Go down to CDC. Starting mileage is 5042.
10-4 at 1557. 1107. 10766 Emirates Loop.
Walgreens. A disturbance just occurred. HEP Port Carlton and attempt to contact welfare at Spawn.
Pressure right now.
Shoreline.
You were on emergency contact? What about the daughter? Was it coming in there? Why was she on scene?
10-4.
380, you're in line.
Sorry, 371.
At 902 Lincoln, but I'm
371, you're in line.
Yeah, 10-4. I'm going to see if anybody else can pick him up.
P99, repeat 0099.
Adam 311, Sherman with
631.
That's the Lighthouse, Boise, Navarro, 5309 Navarro. Can anybody
Send to
assist?
the PD for signal 6.
2804 in service.
It's going to be a Spanish speaker and needs to make a report about medication.
250, all clear, and go ahead and give me that theft in progress at Walgreens and all of us.
Del 250, 10-4.
The first name?
Jaime.
4, Ranger 716. Anyone working? K49 high.
As far as the welfare concern, it's Spawn.
5522.
She was a third party.
Tell me 10-6 at the forensic lab.
Devil.
Charlie 210, I'm out with Charlie 110, and he's okay.
Charlie 210, 10-4.
16, plans area 9 high.
118.
Tim Hatch. He's at the Lighthouse going to 5309 Navarro. He has a 1636 ready time. Can anybody assist with him?
Advise to the apartment 1410, 1410. Take care, Gail Mobile. Advise are standing in the back, wearing a white and maroon dress shirt. It looked like there was some confusion as to who's supposed to pick them up. I guess there's two different records down there. Both trying to get them.
He might have, or his company may have contacted somebody, so as long as somebody gets them out of their way.
Yeah, exactly. This could be a Monica.
150, I'm out of service. 4 Ranger 716, Dallas and 9 high.
I'm sorry. She said she was standing in the back, wearing a white and maroon dress shirt. 721. He's out the 2 in line.
2, you're in line.
Call for medic 14, medic 14 for call for allergic reaction. 425 is dead. 425 is dead. He is HB1 positive. 3000, so that's on localizer clear, so localizer 3-1 approach.
Check your welfare.
Certified transit, I'll be
For
clear.
Rama, Jaime 223 of 63 comes back negative 29 with DL that's out of Round Rock, Texas. Middle name Fabian.
Route 28 has them.
One more. Last name Shaw, first name James. Print 2169.
102169 Shaw James.
Arizona plate, Adam George.
Don't go until 9 p.m.
Adam, 50 p.m. Clear my part.
Arizona plate, Adam George Henry. Adam George
7-1-5-7-347.
Sir, George 75 out of pocket right now. We got on the corner of Airline and McCardle. That little median, they're doing work on the sidewalk. It's kind of hard for our station to make that right-hand turn coming in inbound to Southside Station. Can you check that out?
Okay, 10-4.
Coming down Airline with McCardle, that right turn they have to make, saying that they're working on the sidewalks there. It's really hard to make that turn. Are you right on?
Okay, what route is that?
No, there's someone in it right now. Try to go. I'm going to say it was Route 6. It was Irma Moise. Delta 270.
Mike,
number
16. Adam George 57. Showing negative 25.
Go ahead.
Returns to U-Haul.
24. 4, thanks for your time. Try to make safety.
They were supposed to get off the bus at Shirley and Manshine, unknown where they got off.
Delta 280. Delta 280.
Ready time. Going to 5309 Novato. Then I have Justin Hodge. 410 Plato Road. Going to Airline. You have the 1645 guys. If anybody can assist.
The call taker is calling.
You consider just a regular scheduled trip?
Yep, 10-4, 1600. You write it on the back.
10-4.
Can anybody, guys, assist with that, with any of those two? Tim Hack, 1636 ready time. He's at the Lighthouse.
That's it. 70 traffic.
09 Novato. Then I have Justin Hodge. 410 Plato Road.
3300 block of Ocean Drive.
Airline, guys. Can anybody assist?
Copy. Henry Nora John 6421.
32 minutes.
Yeah, I'm going to be clear. And show me on investigation at the... I'll be in the air ready for whistles. I'll be on the Carrizo side and all of us. Which public library?
I'm in the area of Martin.
Library.
Truck 270, 3800 Tiger, Henry 227
Delta 1.
Can squeeze out of there when it's clear and get in between both push trucks. There's Delta 2, I think.
Show me clear. Show me out in my precinct office. I'll have to follow up with some paperwork.
Get you on, hold on. Earlier, Delta 220 ran a signal for me. Tiffany DeLon, 12-9 of 81. But I needed to see if she had any...
Unknown nature at 6350 Meadow Vista at the Chandler Mill Apartments pending. What unit was that?
220 ran her. Power, but it was for Tiffany DeLon, 12-9 of 81. I think it's so in order to know if she had any static convictions.
10-4, stand by.
Because CCISD, they don't have bus schedules. And RP was told by a child across the street that also rides the bus that his grandkids got off the bus at Rogerson and Mansheim.
Got units out there.
1526 paper strip.
10-4.
Also, I mean, they should, CCISD should have people at school. They should exactly what school, make sure they got on the bus.
Just for info, it's going to be blocked by the train.
We'll be clear from here, but if you could leave me on the call and give me a case number. 700, 3000 on the GMC, look at how to localize it over 3-1.
for that missing juvenile. The CPS office, 4201 Greenwood. It's going to be that juvenile that was from that earlier service with injuries at the hotel. Mel requested officers disconnected the line. No answer. Call back.
200 block of Gala. Henry Paul Williams.
547. 547.
Coffer, truck 4 front, no nature. 6350 Meadow Vista. 6350 Meadow Vista. Chandler's Mill Apartment. Apartment 517. Apartment 517. Called by the manager. We have female at the location. Been yelling for the last 15 minutes. Doesn't know what's wrong. We'll have PD responding. Work out by dispatch 1609.
148 satisfied?
148, we got it under control. We have one of them. Stand by, let me get it tonight. 210159. 2101.
Repeat 0103.
210.
210159. 210159. Be advised, subject has a bloody nose, but it's already been checked by the nurse.
Stepper.
7350. Leopard and Calico, George, Victor, 9727.
And Carlton, and then swing by maybe and pick him up and then drop off on Westchester.
21.
The missing children, did you know what time they got off the bus? What time or how long it's been?
That probably got switched to somebody else.
The call
no, I
doesn't
see it up
advise.
at the top. Okay, no, I see it.
That's a 12128. Check with Francisco Cruz.
No show for
Dallas Airport. It's going to be the assisted living center, building 502. He's requesting a report and assault. Said he was hit by a client named Otis.
No show for Carly Newman, 1604.
Try 263.
Return into base. 450, that went to 49.
10-4.
And the others? 21, thanks for your time. Return to base safety.
27 to base.
Did you get that, no-show? Okay, boy, thank you.
It doesn't matter what day.
I'm at 1800 respond on David 2 North 303.
Medic 13. David 2 North 303, 1800 up 1.
Calling in to see if Adam Cesares, calling to see if he's canceled. I don't see him here in my Ranger.
What's the last name?
Cesares?
148, the second CID is going to be 200966. 200966.
10-4, 200966. 360 location?
No, do I be clear?
Charlie.
Clear.
I think I may have spotted him at Owen in Manchester.
Charlie 1, 10 for Owen in Manchester. And Charlie 250, Charlie 260, did you copy?
Oh, no, sorry, it's Queens.
10-4. Towards the car.
1, 10 for.
10-4, administration will be contacting parents.
10-4. Charlie 1, what were the kids' names?
Charlie 1, it was going to be an Eric Cantu and an Adriana Cantu.
Alpha Engine 13, Medic 13. Engine 13, Medic 13. For an MBA, Waldron at escape. Bound. Waldron at escape. Bound. Take your Melvin Gold Dodge Caliber. Also, like there's going to be a school bus that's involved. There's children on the bus. We'll have PD responding. Call still coming in. Work off EMS 16014.
show you. Medic 13, copy.
10-4, bring it in.
Port 7.
For Major, Roger, SCID eastbound. Roger, SCID eastbound.
Charlie 1, do you need Charlie 2?
Be advised that a school bus hit another vehicle. The school bus has children on the bus. Bravo 3.
2406.
Ms. Lorencia Valdez and Weber Good Homes going to Heather.
Radio check.
Yes. Charlie 270.
Step 4, 1650.
Mel Michael Smith.
3800 Tiger Temple.
Jojo Wilson. Our patient unconscious, very breathing, will be waiting outside the office. Permission to commence. More copy, MS 1 at 1650. 6 copy.
Okay.
280 to
2.
380. 7.
For a medical.
That was going to be a negative on the death conviction.
50131. Patient that's unconscious, barely breathing, unknown and choking, call still coming in. Charlie 2, where you 10-4?
Oh. It's on that side? Okay, my bad. Alright.
She's ready now?
Charlie 1.
Yeah, literally, she had a 1500.
78.
Stanford, turn back around.
Charlie 1, 10-4.
Thank you, guys. 46 to base.
37 to base. Diane Rodriguez going home with her parents.
Charlie 240, 10-4, Charlie 150, I'll show you clear. Charlie 150, I'll 10-4. 10-4.
Okay. 413 in line.
413.
Delta 380.
Got the camera.
Your name or ring?
3306. West side.
Alright,
The RPS can be at Karen McDonald.
Yo, 62286, 62286.
10-4, stand by.
Aldrin, we're going to need that blocked off. And we're also going to need all traffic coming northbound, so eastbound on the access road at Waldron.
Engine 13, I'll take command. Engine 13, 10-4.
4301, passing 1,200 per 3,000 on Jim. Off Coastal National.
Any unit that can clear for a disturbance. Go ahead, intersection 415, Carol 4.
Show me clear. 10-4.
Delta 230 and Delta 270, straight for disturbance.
So the one that you show me out at Glendale, 19 per minute.
Female call advised.
That's why.
Could be at the corner for a male yelling for
Going code 1 with a 49-year-old male patient having an allergic reaction. Patient stated he took medication about 30 minutes ago. He does have hives to his neck and back area. He is A&O times 4. Blood pressure 149/98. Pulse of 116. Respiration 16. Exciting at 99 on room air. Got a finger stick of 176. Monitor showing sinus pack at 16. No ectopic. We do have an IV established and administered Benadryl at this time. ETA to your facility is about 5 minutes.
Anything happens to it?
Let's cut them and on arrival.
You guys are in it, right? There's no going
Minute 14 now.
No. Back on radio.
On Shannon at Tom Brown Middle School, 4301 Shannon, Tom Brown Middle School. Contact 1 for us. You'll be going to 4326 Shannon to pick up property. RP is going to be in a white cube in front of the school.
First name Alexander.
B11.
Didn't they have a
18-4 high and we'll report canceling on
Stand by.
Digit 13 time 4.
The car ran the red light
westbound, striking the bus. In that same area.
Actually, pulling a trailer, they stole a generator from another vehicle in the parking lot. I've been advised of possibly being followed. Call Spending Patrol 11620.
376 outside, clear from the top.
Delta 240 and Delta 320 for disturbance. Buford at 19. Buford at 19. Advise there's a female.
Charlie 260, Temple.
Black male, possibly assaulted a female.
Charlie 1, I'm clear.
Charlie 1, clear.
Copy that, level 3. No vehicle. Number clear.
PC 2 to PC 9.
Case number 1 adult female cut. On EMS 1. As you guys, there were no other descriptions and subjects may possibly be unquestioned.
Charlie 320. Start 220.
You Charlie 220.
Show me around the main attack.
Charlie 220, Temple.
0735, cancel iPhone.
Paul Lincoln 9169.
Paul Lincoln 9169, Temple, 3100 ocean.
Top at 7,000. Hey, is that you, 7? 10-4? Yeah, that was a little error in that citation. Delta 230 in the area.
Delta 230.
Staples could be Gray Mustang.
370, I'm in the area. Where are you from, LT?
Car in the roadway. Okay. One car's in the roadway, the other pulled into Exxon.
Charlie, I'll be clear. Traffic again.
Charlie 270, location.
William 138.
3800 Tiger, Charles Paul 9, William 138.
What? 1,000 for 1,500.
Units copy for that.
03, can you copy the plate on the witness vehicle? Just return to the scene.
Panic mode, a blue white collar.
Except for I'm